Welcome to the land of reality, where the truth will be heard. And we don't give a damn about your feelings. So stomp your feet, cry if you want to, scream and shout, cause we don't give a damn, fanboys. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Welcome everyone to the Wednesday Live. Welcome, gentlemen. I was going to say glad to have you guys back for another Wednesday. AOH, Speam, Sports and Fitness Rants. Robin, if you could do us the favor of shouting everybody out that's in the chat, I would appreciate it, sir.
Absolutely. Once again, man, it's great to be back on another Wednesday Live edition with the crew. We got my man, the Real Siberius, leading us on the Wednesday show. My man, Speam, the Tragic Basketball Channel, is always here. We got the Zarda video footage, as always, AOH. Thank you very much for you guys, man. I appreciate doing these lives with you guys. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I know you guys are just starting to come in. Again, you know the Wednesday show. Shout out to Dakota, Lurid. Shout out to my man, Rock Stefani. Anthony Sanchez, what's going on? Lynetta 402, Earn Your O. We know who you are. We know you in the building. Machiavelli the Don, my man. Shout out to you for coming through as always. We got JW Novotny. Thank you very much, man. Good afternoon where you are. Terrence Potts, what up? Ivan 1294, Javo Music in the building. My man Crush Mers. I know I jacked it up, but I appreciate you coming through as always. Raider Nation, Speedy Eagle, Chris Garcia, The Third Eye, John Freeman, Just a Messenger, Dermon Robinson, Powell Gorniak, Brandon D. Harrell, Sarah's in the building as always, Troy Black, Smilkoff, Jacob B. Gordon, BTs, Sig Slayers, Juan Sanchez, El Gringo in the house, Paquito 3087, shout out to you. My man, you know the deal. Carrillo, let's roll.
Yes, sir.
AOH, say hello to the people.
Hello, people. Thank you for hosting Siberius. Good to see you, Speam. Good to see you, Sports and Fitness Rants. Let's get it.
Speam, any words?
Nope. Shout out to, well, actually, yes, shout out to the chat. Shout out to AOH, Siberius, Robin. Shout out to Dart. Michael Jordan fans are the best. Hashtag free Dart. Let's go.
So as you can see, I got the topics of the day. We got a lot of soundbite reactions. A lot of people saying a lot of stupid shit. So we'll definitely be getting to that. The Cavs have made some roster moves, which are questionable at best. Luka finally getting some praise now that LeBron is gone. And some miscellaneous topics at the end. So let's just get right into it. We're going to start off with KD talks about European players. Speam, this was your topic. Anything you want to preface it with before we get on with it?
No. Just the context is that I think it's just more anti-European basketball stance. I think it's an interesting talk piece. So let's it's on Club 520. I love that show. I love their show. Shout out to them. Let's just get right into it. I think it might be interesting.
Who's Club 520?
It's Jeff Teague and his brother B Hen and this dude DJ.
God damn it! I knew it. I knew it, Speam. That's why I asked you what podcast it was, because I knew it was Jeff Teague's goddamn podcast.
That's not a good sign.
You gotta be goddamn kidding me, man. Are you over here promoting Jeff Teague's podcast?
No.
Yeah, while he listens to Hoobastank.
No, I got a Blink 180. I got a Blink 180 shirt, Blink 181 shirt on today, so we should be good.
Those aren't similar.
Goodness gracious!
I don't know. It's all the same. It's all the same to me. It's just it's going to spiral out of control. It's going to spiral out of control.
That Jeff Teague be saying. I mean, it's insane stuff, man. Yo, shout out to Armand Smith. Thank you very much. Mark Book, what's up? Erdy Styles, shout out to you. I appreciate you guys. Lionel Garcia, Bull Venom Jacket, Bernard Kemp. Thank you very much, guys, for coming through. Vicente Garcia.
All right, well, let's check out this clip. I imagine we're going to have a lot to say.
Oh, go ahead. Load
Jesus
up from
Christ,
KD,
maybe
man, talking
not.
about international players. Good pod, man, from KD. Love when he's talking about basketball.
Yeah, it's about time. You know, they've been coming into the league since the 80s. You know what I'm saying? It's just natural evolution that guys from around the world going assume those positions as the best players in the league. Now, the real argument should be who are they influenced by? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, stop it right
And
there,
most
real
of
quick.
these are influenced by
Real quick. Do you see what I'm saying? It takes 15 seconds to see what they're doing. Who cares, right? Who they're influenced by. That's a whole separate conversation. B, you know what this is so intentional. Keep going. Hopefully you guys are picking up on what I'm saying already.
Americans. So it's like, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, I'm getting MVPs and stuff, but like, who did you watch? You see Jokic and Porzingis and Shea and all these dudes with Iverson jerseys coming up, braids in their hair, crossing over. They try to play like us too, and they accomplished it and executed
like
it
you.
in their own little way. But yeah, I mean, and then you look at Shea. Is he an international player?
I mean, he's from Canada. That's international.
Is Shea an international player?
His pipeline
Is
is
Shea
amazing.
an international player? He's Canadian. Is he an international player? What are we doing?
Do you think KD knows that that's not part of the United States?
Oh, that's a good question. I didn't think about that. I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. Is he thinks it's North America? It's all the same.
You still gave him too much
stupid for
credit. Just America. I'm not sure if he knows about North or South or anything.
You can keep going. It gets kind of worse.
NBA player came from the American system. Where'd he go to college? Where'd he play in high school?
Yeah.
Facts. That's real shit.
Well said.
He ain't say nothing wrong. He really wants.
No, it's not. Okay, you can pause it there. No, it's not.
What are you
There's
doing to
nothing
us?
real about anything he said.
Don't
Nothing.
make
What's that?
What are you doing to us, man? Robin was right. It's a Jeff Teague show. Like, it's just.
Well, I'm more focused on what Kevin Durant said, thinking
The
that
whole
what he's
pan-
saying
Oh,
is so
that's-
provocative.
You just heard the fucking weakest thing ever, and then the panel's like, "That's some real shit." I'm gonna go.
Right.
Yeah, it's less about Club 520 and more about what KD's saying. My point is the way he prefaced that is what he was providing like this crazy edge-like statement that he's saying. And unfortunately, they're kind of backing it up. But this is bad. Like, this is problematic. It's going to get worse during the season.
I have a question to what he means. They're trying to play like us. They're trying to play like the Americans. How do the Americans play? How do we play basketball? And I say we as Americans. How do we play basketball in the NBA? How does America play basketball in the NBA? It's actually been part of the problem, how they play basketball. So if he's saying that they're influenced by Americans, and he's sitting there talking about they're trying to play like us, that's a bunch of crap, because the problem with the NBA now is that they're not playing basketball like we used to watch back in the day. Again, I don't have any problem with, these guys and, however they want to, dribble and all this other stuff. The NBA allows these guys to do this stuff. So again, how are these guys really playing? If you think about how the game was playing in the 90s, the word that I always use is balance. There was a balance in the league. Whether it was the allowable, the officiates allowing certain things with dribbling and stuff like that, there was a balance there. It wasn't super strict like the 60s, but it wasn't also like it is now, where guys are just doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So there was a great way for you to watch the game and get involved in the game, even if you're a casual fan. So I'm really confused with Kevin Durant and, some of the things that he's saying here as far as, they're influencing these European players. Because if that's the case, and they're trying to, be like them, then how come everyone keeps saying that the world has caught up to America? Is Kevin Durant saying that they're doing America better than Americans? I don't understand it.
Am I the one that hears when KD talks that in his mind, he thinks the American basketball player means a black player? Like, that's literally what he thinks in his head. Like that, those are the same thing. It's synonymous. Like, he's
Me, I'm quick to play the race card, AOH. I did not pick up on him meaning black players.
Well, play it again.
Well, listen, listen, the Kevin Durant thing with the Europeans, and I think when we say Europeans, we're not just saying Europe. You're saying everyone outside of America, essentially. That's what he's saying. So it don't matter if you're from Africa, Australia. It don't matter where you're from. You're still considered a European,
You're just European,
in this
yeah.
conversation. So if you think about the Dream Team in 92, for example, and then you think about what they brought to the international stage, how every player on that team had a different style of game. Everyone could do something different. That was what, made the 90s and some of these other eras so great, was the authenticity of the players, the creativity of the players, and how not every single player seemed to be playing the same style of game. And now in the era of NBA that we're watching over the last, 5-6 years or so, it seems as if everyone is doing the same style of play. You have a team with a guy who dominates the basketball. Now, Luka Doncic or, some of these guys that will, James Harden, LeBron James, right? These guys that dominate the basketball, they initiate the offense for their team. Everyone lives and dies by that player. That's what we got going on now. When you hear these guys today talk about the flopping of guys back in the day, who are they talking? They're talking about the European players. It was the European guys that brought flopping heavily to the NBA. That was the facts, man. When we used to watch a lot of these European guys back in the 90s, we laughed at them. They were the soft ones. Let's make no mistakes about it. We are the soft ones now. America is soft. All right, guys like Nikola Jokic laugh at us. Guys like Giannis laughing at us. Even Luka Doncic is talking about how hard the European leagues are compared to the NBA. Did you ever hear any of the European guys? Did you ever hear Vlade Divac say the NBA was weaker than the Euro League in the 90s? Did you ever hear Sarunas Marshalonis say this, or Detlef Schrempf? And these guys that were really good players, did they ever mock the international game? I never heard Drazen Petrovic say, yeah, man, I came to the NBA because it's so much weaker and softer than the Euro leagues.
Can you play it from the beginning?
Yep.
So AOH, you're saying we're doing more coded language.
God damn your timing, dude.
So AOH, you're saying we're doing coded language. No, go ahead, Siberius. I'm fucking around.
I don't think he's
Good pod, man, from KD. Love when he's talking about basketball.
Yeah, it's about time. They've been coming into the league since the 80s. You know what I'm saying? It's just natural evolution that guys from around the world going assume those positions as the best players in the league now.
Stop.
Stop.
Okay. So what he's doing in this show is backpedaling. This just sounds like he's reeking of insecurity, and it really bothers him that somewhere deep down he knows that they're not the best anymore. And he's actually, with that statement, conceding that American players aren't the best anymore, instead of continuing to fight, no, we are the best, or maybe improve your fucking game and take back that title. But what he's doing on this podcast is now saying, well, that doesn't matter. It's who the original influencers were, which is just a complete and total cop-out. It doesn't matter.
Well, no, I agree, and that's exactly what I picked up for.
Let's go back to let's talk about the Mayans or the Aztecs or whoever it was who threw people's heads into the wicker baskets as a sport. Are you sure that wasn't the original influence? That doesn't fucking matter. What matters is who's great right now, and you just gave up the crown. You just gave up the crown and said, "Oh, it was natural. It was inevitable. I mean, they started coming over in the '80s. What else was going to happen?"
AOH, you and Robin are both historians. Is the '80s accurate as to when the Europeans came in to the league? I don't know that I don't know the league history well enough.
There have been European players or players of other nationalities in the NBA for a minute. From the beginning, it wasn't just that. There's no definitive timetable or
it was so
season
specific
when international players came in. I think what Kevin Durant is referring to when he says the 80s is when people start to recognize the international players, on the NBA stage. And I say the same thing all the time. If you think about a lot of the European players that played in the NBA, throughout its history, but especially in the 80s and the 90s, I feel like specifically, it wasn't just run-of-the-mill Europeans. Now in the NBA, you have the second, third, fourth, fifth guy on the Olympic team now in the NBA, and they'll tell you that's because those guys are so much greater now than they were in the 90s. They caught up to America. That's a complete lie, man. Because when they say and make those comments, they want you to believe that if we drop the 92 Dream Team in the Olympics in 2024, they get manhandled because they caught up to us. The guys in the 90s, man, they couldn't compete with South Sudan and Nikola Jokic's Serbian team. I mean, goddamn, what would they do? do. They act like guys like Arvydas Sabonis were around back in the day. I mentioned Drazen Petrovic, who was elite. We mentioned Tony Kukoc and some of these other great players. You had to be amazing. You had to be like the best guy in your country to make the NBA back then. There were no half-stepping Europeans in the league. I mean, Detlef Schrempf in the 90s is Dirk Nowitzki, guys. He's Dirk freaking Nowitzki. Go watch Detlef Schrempf's game. I'm not saying he's as great as Dirk Nowitzki and what he accomplished, but if you put Detlef Schrempf in the 2000s, he's Dirk Nowitzki, guys. The man was shooting from the outside at 6'10" in the 90s. He was doing this in the late 80s.
Absolutely. Well, and why don't they ever talk about the systematic destruction of basketball from AAU? Why is that never brought into the picture? That the fact that European players are so much more fundamentally sound than American basketball players are now.
I think for me, the bigger topic is that instead of actually talking about basketball and going out there and competing and winning, they've been reduced to these side topics, and they got to keep going on these little podcasts. And they remind me of maybe a third grader who passes a note in class. And he's like, meet me at recess, and we're going to talk about so-and-so. And it's going to make me feel better about myself. I mean, these guys are fucking children. And I understand the hypocrisy and the fact that we have a podcast that's talking about them. But goddamn, you guys are multimillionaire professional athletes that the whole world listens to and sees your behavior. You're causing serious fucking developmental damage to the youth. And yes, we talk about them, but that's to counter the damage that they're doing.
To your point, AOH, there's a billion other things they could be doing. And yes, they are millionaires.
Yeah, like practicing.
Billionaires.
Maybe lift some goddamn weights. Where Katie's weights? He should be like Robin. Do some goddamn pull-ups during your fucking podcast.
The issue is with all of these other things you could be talking about, why talk about this right now?
Insecurity.
Unless it's intentional.
Insecurity. Well, look, the NBA, I don't know who led the charge, but this whole making us be worried about where players are from thing really got ramped up in the last couple of years. Look, I remember Vlade was not first. I mean, and you can go down a rabbit hole. I started looking this up, and I guess there was some dude from 1946 that was Italian that ended up playing in a version of the NBA. But as a child, I remember Vlade Divac because he was one of the first European dudes that I saw in an actual TV commercial on a Saturday morning. Yeah. It's what influenced me. But I wasn't like, holy shit, Europe's arrived.
Right.
I mean, you know what's crazy is I think someone like Kevin Durant and a lot of these guys, they get wrapped up. Like you mentioned something about like this AOH. You talk about the color of the skin, and Speem, you talked about, you know, how these guys, someone like Kevin Durant's insecure. But I feel like a lot of times these guys forget that, you know, the international players are not just the white guys from some of these European countries. People forget that Patrick Ewing is not born in America. Hakeem Olajuwon, not born in America. So when you think about some of the great players of the 90s, we forget to mention guys like Ewing and Hakeem Olajuwon as being born in other countries. Now, we know those guys played for the Dream Team in their careers. However, it doesn't change the fact that they were not born in America. So if you think about that, we talked and mentioned Manute Ball on these live shows before, right? Manute Ball. There were people saying that when Manute Ball played, because of the way that documents are kept in a lot of these third world countries, that this man was like 50 years old when he was playing in the NBA because they did not know his exact date of birth. Listen, man, you guys remember that Little League kid from like 20, 30 years ago who was pitching in the Little League World Series, and they found out that he was like 5 years older than everybody else because they don't really keep records and stuff like that in these other countries. So it was a whole big controversy some years ago with that pitcher, and he was throwing all this fast stuff. And so if you think about a lot of these guys, I see people in the chat mention some guys like Dikembe Mutombo. I mean, there were a lot of, and think about the guys we mentioned. These are great players. They're not all so-rans. They're not so-so guys. These are legit players in the NBA because, like I said, you had to be a legit player to play in the NBA if you were European. You know, people talk, you mentioned Vlade Divac, AOH. People need to go back and look at the 1991 NBA Finals and what Vlade Divac was doing to the Bulls front line. He was destroying Grant. He was eating Bill Cartwright alive in there. Vlade Divac was having a career finals in that 91 finals. That was part of the problem for the Bulls in the first couple of games. They had no answer for Vlade Divac. The man was literally making it rain in there.
Well, and another part of what Katie said that we haven't touched on is he's talking about how we've been, the European players have supposedly been influenced by American players. He didn't mention any modern player. He didn't mention any player that's played in the last 20 years. He didn't say, oh, they're modeling their game after me. They're modeling their game after LeBron. He brought up Allen Iverson. Okay, great.
Yeah, you saw what he brought up, Siberius. He said he talked about Allen Iverson with the braids and the headbands. Like, it's so lame to me when these guys try to boil Allen Iverson down to some guy that had braids and a headband on. Like, get the hell out of here with this stuff. Allen Iverson is so iconic. I posted a photo of this early this morning. Naomi Osaka, a famous tennis player, female tennis player, she actually just honored Allen Iverson at the U.S. Open the other day by going to the actual tennis match with a headband on like Allen Iverson. She had her hair braided like Allen Iverson, wore the sleeve like Allen Iverson. Like, she was out there repping Allen Iverson. Naomi Osaka was born in 1996, dude. She was born the year that Allen Iverson was drafted into the NBA. How much Allen Iverson did she actually see live?
Right.
Probably not much. But Allen Iverson is so iconic that she dressed like Allen Iverson. She didn't dress like Kevin Durant and mess her hair all up and leave a bunch of gaps in there and not put lotion on her legs for a whole month.
Not putting no lotion on.
She try to act like LeBron James and, be really weird again with the hair. These weird hair guys, these dudes, man. Did she come on the microphone and say a bunch of lies and start acting like a big baby on the tennis court? So once again, the influence of guys from the 90s is still here today. Kobe Bryant came into the NBA in the 90s, y'all. Who is Kevin Durant influence internationally? I would love to know who is Kevin Durant influence internationally. Who wants to be Kevin Durant? No, listen, if anything, the European guys have influenced the Americans. That's the goddamn problem right now. Because we're the ones flopping like the Europeans used to be known for. We're the soft ones like the Europeans used to be known for. Where are the weak ones now? We're the ones who don't play defense. That was the Europeans. They were known for not playing defense on that level, for not being as tough and physical as the Americans. So we have become the Europeans. If anything, Kevin Durant and these clowns have been influenced by the Europeans, not the other way around.
Can I ask a question to the chat and the panel? Is Steph Curry the last NBA athlete that kids wanted to play like? Actually wanted to play like? Actually saw them doing what he did. Robin, I think you just made a great point. I can't think of one current player that I see kids saying, I want to play like them or I model my game after them. Steph Curry is the last active player I can think of that kids still want to play like internationally, stateside, what have you.
Two-part
That's
answer.
sad.
Two-part answer. It depends on the type of kid, because if your goal is to be lazy and unathletic and still get paid, you could be influenced by today's player. You could be influenced by Kevin Durant. Hey, just don't show up to work, get paid, and go on a podcast. And then two, I'm a little bit worried that the kids that supposedly were influenced by Steph Curry, I'm a little bit worried that they didn't get influenced by his entire package and only took I'm going to stand here and chuck up a three, which is not Steph Curry's fault, because Steph Curry is also known for his handles, his pregame routines, the way that he can drive to the paint, the way he can actually finish at the rim as a small guy, getting hit and not getting calls, and like LeBron James, kicking it out, ball movement. Shooting's what everybody talks about, but it's only a piece of his game.
Well, so I'm actually going to answer your question with a question. So in the 90s and even 2000s, if I went around to the basketball courts in my area, I would see people playing basketball. I don't see people playing basketball anymore.
True.
So are there kids, period, that want to play like basketball players at all anymore? Because I don't see them.
I don't know.
It used to be if you took your ass to the court, you had to wait in line to get into a game.
True.
That's not a thing anymore. I don't even see them play. There's a basketball court 2 blocks from my house that I go past all the time. There's never anyone playing on that court, ever. Didn't matter if it was summer, didn't matter if it was during the school or during winter break. Nobody is ever playing on that court. So I understand the point of your question, but I don't see people playing. So are there genuinely people that want to play like basketballs, period, anymore? Because it used to be, somebody would chuck up a shot and say Jordan or Kobe. I can't think of the last time that I've even heard of that happening.
Uncommon Sense mentioned that in a video 3 years ago. He's like, you don't see people on the courts anymore. And I was like, wow, damn. I never had to worry about there being a game. In fact, we were so spoiled that me and my guys that we like to play together could actually pick and choose. We could drive by a court and see what was happening there and be like, well, let's see what's happening at this other court and then this other court. And it's like they all had fucking people. They all had games ready. We actually were spoiled enough to be like, well, this is where we're going to play today.
Yeah, that's a great point that you guys bring up. I've heard Uncommon Sense mention this. I've heard a lot of people on their channels mention, their neighborhood, and there used to be this basketball court. They used to always be packed, and now you drive by and it's not as many people. In my area, again, I'm in New York, where I am. There's a basketball court that's a mile up the road from me. I've jogged up there sometimes. I played basketball, and I try to go there, a couple of times, during the summer if I can, because a lot of times there's actually people playing basketball on these courts, man. Especially in the summertime when a lot of the college kids and the high school kids are out of school. A lot of those basketball players, the college kids, the high school kids, they'll go to those courts and they'll play. And they'll be deep. I mean, sometimes it's so deep with high school and college kids, they don't let the OGs come in there. They won't let the old guys get in the game with them. If you don't have 4 guys to run with you, run 5s, then you're not going to get on the court sometimes with some of these guys. And there's a couple of courts, so you have to go, play in the other court. So in my area, there are people still playing the game. Now, I don't think it's like it used to be. A lot of you guys were saying, I remember the same court that I'm talking about. If you lost a game on this court, you were never getting back on. So, if you ran 5s and your team lost, that was it. That was the end of your day. It didn't matter. That's what made the game so intense. Because even if we were playing to 7, you knew that you didn't want to lose because you were never coming back on the goddamn court. So your team was trying everything possible to stay on the court. We didn't lollygag out there, right? And there was no sense of, people be like, oh, yeah, I was trying to beat Jordan out there in the court. I was never trying to beat Jordan. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us dreamed and we had aspirations of being great like Jordan, right? Be like Mike. But I'm 5'9", man. You know what I'm saying? There's no way that I'm going to be Jordan. So when you think about Steph Curry and you talk about the relatability that he has to the common folks standing only about 6'2", 6'3", that's a lot, more. People can look at Steph Curry and envision themselves doing this, but it's hard to envision yourself as 6'9" or 6'8", or right. Kevin Durant, who's 7 feet tall with 7'6" wingspan. Someone like Kevin Durant, and you think about the genetics that he's been blessed with, and the fact that this man has never made an all-defensive team in his career is shocking to me. And when you think about his piss-poor rebounding, the nerve of this guy to sit here with his arms crossed and say the things that he's been saying on the microphone over the last several years now. I just did a video on Kevin Durant comments, and he started talking about the fans, and he talks about how he loves to go back and forth with the fans because he's good at this stuff and that he hurts people's feelings, and he always likes to do these kinds of things. And Kevin Durant said, this is his quote, "I am better at life than you are." So when you think about this mindset of a Kevin Durant who thinks he's better at life than the regular everyday common folk, the reason he believes this is because he's got money. So I've said the same thing about guys like Durant and LeBron James on the channel, the live show. They're dirtbag human beings. They look down on the common folk.
Siberius, to answer your question, are kids playing basketball? One thing that I'm seeing is that I'm seeing these one-on-one leagues on YouTube pick up steam. It's just a bunch of influencers, playing basketball one-on-one. They get 4 dribbles and someone hits a jumper and then his entire crew runs up on the court and they celebrate, and it just becomes this big performative thing. But what the issue is, just like how we joke about, well, it's only a joke until it's serious. These guys are starting to leak into the league, challenging, former basketball, like Patrick Beverly was challenged, and it's a joke until, now Jake Paul is actually fighting somebody, right? He's a boxer until he's not a boxer. So this influencer thing is leaking into real sports, and that's where basketball is now. It's in these one-on-one leagues. It's in the influencer market. It is in the hashtag creation market, the gotcha moment, the let's again celebrate a celebration instead of a bucket. So I think that's where the basketball is taking place. And even if you look at the AAU scene, you got kids playing basketball in banana costumes and like steel-toed boots, and like it's all over the place. The sport is an absolute joke. Also, Rob, a shout out to you, because I was like, why is KD dressed like a cat burglar? Like, why do you look so uncomfortable? Why do you work so hard to come off so unapproachable? I didn't think about it until you just said, why is he sitting there with his arms crossed like that? Where's like the friendly, warm nature? Like, oh snap, like, yo, kids look up to me.
Well, it's funny that you said that with the arms crossed, because if you understand body language, that's a defensive body posture. That means you don't have confidence in what you're saying. You're defensive. You're speaking defensively. You're not being open and willing to a conversation. You're not just presenting information openly. His body says it all. He's closed off. He doesn't want to hear any rebuttal. He doesn't want to hear anything contrary to what he's saying.
Rebuttal.
He doesn't even
rebuttal. There will be no rebuttal on these podcasts.
Well, no, absolutely not.
That was hard shit. That was good shit, KD. You know, these guys who go on these podcasts and they just have to slouch on a couch in a hoodie and speak arrogantly. These are the people who should also be providing some history. They themselves, out of respect for the people who paved the path for them, should know something about the path. And, Robin, I think you mentioned Patrick Ewing. I really think that there's a significant chance that if you asked Kevin Durant where Patrick Ewing was from without him being prepared, he wouldn't know. He would not know.
No, absolutely not.
That's a great point, AOH, and that's the biggest problem with a lot of these podcasts. You see, when you see someone like Jeff Teague on a podcast, he automatically has cachet above guys like me, Siberius, AOH, Speen, because he played in the league. It don't matter if he was good, bad, great. It doesn't matter. He was in the league. I remember when Gilbert Arenas came on the live show some years back and me and him got into it. He kept trying to tell me, I played in the league. I played in the league. And I started laughing and I said, I watched this stuff. And what I was trying to get across to him is that, dude, you never played in the era of the I watched. You didn't play in the 90s, my man. But you keep talking about the 80s and the 90s, but you never played in those eras. I grew up watching this stuff. I'm the same age, probably older than Gilbert Arenas. I was watching this stuff. Gilbert Arenas clearly was not. Because like you guys said, just pointed out, even if they did watch this stuff and they understand it, they know it, they choose not to give you the facts. They choose not to tell you the truth, not to give you the context and perspective that they might have in their brain. So guys like Gilbert Arenas, the Jeff Teague was the guy that came out, and this is why I don't respect his podcast. Last year, or whatever it was, he came out and said that he remembered going up against Kobe Bryant. And what he said was that Kobe Bryant's defense wasn't really that great. And he was like, yeah, I didn't think Kobe Bryant's defense was great like that. And what he said was that Kobe Bryant was only making all of those all-defensive teams off their reputation. And we've talked about this before. And to me, that's one of the dumbest statements I've ever heard someone make that play in the NBA. How do you build and develop a reputation, Jeff Teague? You don't just get a reputation because they just gave it to you. Yeah, Kobe Bryant plays good defense. Let's just say that. No, you had to actually go out there and prove and earn the reputation. You earn a reputation. People don't just give you a reputation, Jeff Teague. So again, you probably heard the saying, your reputation precedes you. If you've heard that before, that's what that means. So people know Kobe Bryant as being an elite level defender. When Jeff Teague says, yeah, I didn't think his defense was that tough. Dude, you're Jeff Teague. Why would Kobe Bryant play a hellified defense against you? He don't have to play hellified defense. Again, you're Jeff Teague.
Real quick, guys, just before we get too far behind, I want to get to some of these super chats. Earn Euro 2, getting in early. What do y'all think of the 76ers signing Taco Fall?
Hey, wait, what do you got to say about that?
Roster's complete. Well, the roster's the Warriors roster is complete, man.
Invite him into camp. But like you said,
Sixers
LeBron James teams always find somebody.
I thought they just signed JaVale McGee.
Maybe him too.
This morning saying they signed JaVale McGee.
Yeah,
I didn't see that, but they just signed everybody.
I know. How many
fucking roster spots do they get?
This is exactly like the Lakers, man. They
Yep.
had like a fucking
Yep.
20-man roster and kept adding and subtracting throughout the entire season as they chose.
And AOH, next season, right before the playoffs, they'll magically get like fucking Chris Paul or something. Like when no other team can make a move, the Lakers will magically get Chris Paul or fucking Ben Simmons or just randomly just this person that is mysteriously the missing piece they needed this whole time. But no other team can seem to make a move to give themselves an advantage going into the playoffs. It happens every single season.
Yep. Every year.
Yo, shout out to everybody in the chat for coming through. The Shane, thank you for coming through on your lunch break. Shout out to Michael Gill, Indies 317, old school NBA fan, Pink Lady Scorpio in the building. Thank you very much, guys.
Sarah coming through. Thank you, Sarah. Laughing my ass off. That bum is such a snake, and yet he wonders why MJ ain't accepting his friend request. That's probably been in his box for 10 years, and he's still not looking at it.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Thank you, sir.
Raider Nation coming through with 10 jewels. Thank you. Robert Moore coming through with 5 jewels. Thank you, sir.
Yo, keep dropping them jewels in the chat, y'all.
Robert Moore coming through again with 5 more jewels. And 5 more jewels. Thank you, Robert Moore. Red Factor showing up. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
KD owes part of his game from Dirk Nowitzki. I would agree with that.
Dirk does not get the respect he needs.
He does not.
He deserves. He does not. In the pantheon of basketball, he has one of the hardest chips in the history of championships. His one chip to me is worth more than all of LeBron's put together, and he does not get the respect he deserves. Not even just as an international basketball player, just as a basketball player. It's disgusting, and I'm starting to wonder if it is because he's a European player. I never thought about it, but until now.
I can't really spend much time praising Dirk anymore, though, because in his desire to have a broadcasting career after the NBA, which, I mean, goddamn, I talked shit about Draymond, but Dirk doesn't really belong on there either. He can't. It's hard to understand him still, and he's got some sort of a livestock animal face, and he did some LeBron James ass kissing a couple of years ago, and that's what got him on Prime. That's what got him on the panel on
I didn't know that. I've never heard him talk on a game before.
You never heard him talk, or you never understood him while he was talking?
Well, I mean, there's that too.
No, it's not that bad, actually. It's not. I understand it, Dirk mostly. What am I doing making fun of Dirk? I'm getting
he's solid,
Robert
man.
Moore
He's
with 5
sort of
more
on our side.
jewels. And let's get to the last super here. Top Dog coming through. Sports and Fitness Rants. You want to read this one, please?
Yeah, shout out to Top Dog again, man. True supporter of all of us coming out here on these lives. I was in middle and high school in the mid to late 2010s, and every young person wanted to be like and shoot like Steph. Thank you very much for Top Dog for adding to the chat and backing up what Speen was talking about as far as the relatability of Steph Curry and his career and how he's played the game and the influence that he's had on the younger generation as opposed to a Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant didn't influence anybody. And when you look at the influence that LeBron James in the era has given to the young kids, I did a video on this too last year. Look at the flopping now. It's once again, it's trickled this way down to the children. You got kids out here flopping down the basketball court because they see guys like LeBron James doing it. Remember, no one cared in the NBA when you hear a lot of these LeBron James fans say, yeah, well, so-and-so flopped in the 90s. They'll be naming the secondary guys. They're not naming the top guys of the era. So if you mention Vlade Divac, they say, yo, Vlade Divac was flopping in the 90s. Number one, he's European. We've established that. Number two, and more importantly, he was not one of the top 10 players in the league. He wasn't a top 5 player in the league. He wasn't Kevin Durant or LeBron James. So when you see LeBron James, who they promote as the best player in the NBA, the face of the league, was Vlade Divac ever the face of the freaking league? No, he was not. So why do you guys always single out the lesser guys? The reason why we clown LeBron James and some of these other superstar level players for flopping, not only the size, but again, you're supposed to be held to a higher standard.
Before we move on from this international player topic, I want to share something that just so happens to fit in. I was considering this nonsense about Michael Jordan not facing competition, and one of the super well put together teams that he faced was the Pacers, and I was thinking about the specific matchup of Rick Smits, the dunking Dutchman, 7-4, versus Luke Longley, and I'm like, who do you fucking want on your team? Like, you want Rick Smits or you want Luke Longley? I mean, let's fucking be honest.
Right.
Now that's a separate topic. That's a debate in itself. But that plays into today because both of them are fucking international.
Right. No, that's true. That's true. You're right. Again, more international players in the era that people forget that international players were out there doing things.
But
And like I
Robin,
said,
did they
everyone
forget?
had.
Robin, did they forget, or did they not shove it down your throat? I don't remember anyone saying, "Oh, and everybody remember that Rick Smits is Dutch, and everybody remember that Luke Longley is Australian."
Nobody gave a fuck. It didn't matter.
Did you belong on the court, or did you not belong on the court?
Wait, I didn't know Rick Smits was I didn't even know he was an international player or he had a nickname. I'm dead serious. I just thought he played for the Pacers and was a big man.
The dunking Dutchman.
The dunking.
Yeah, I knew he had
no
a
idea.
nickname, but I didn't.
Yeah. And not for
didn't
nothing,
realize
he
that.
would be a fucking force in the paint today. Another testament to how fucking soft it is. Rick Smits, who got bullied in the paint the entire 90s, would be a fucking stopper in the paint.
Did he really
today.
get bullied in the paint? You talking out your ass?
No, I feel like he did.
Well, the thing about Rick Smits, like you're saying, Speed, I think what you're trying to say is that Rick Smits, as good as he was, the era was so great. He wasn't one of the top centers, man. Like, if you think about the top 5 centers in the NBA in the 90s, Rick Smits don't even crack that. And not because he wasn't good, because in this era, he would be one of the top big men in the league because the era's a lot weaker. I just saw a post on YouTube the other day about Victor Wembanyama, who just completed his 3rd season, going into his 4th year now. And they talked and what they were celebrating him for, again, more celebration of Victor Wembanyama historically. And what they said was that he has the most 5+ block games in the NBA for current active players. And they had a list of guys that are currently in the NBA that had more blocks before 5 block games before turning 26 years old. So again, they have to put all these qualifiers in here for these guys. Hey man, he's got the most 5 block games before turning 26. All right, great for him. So when you think and they show the list of the guys that had, that were on that list, you had guys like DeAndre Jordan and Rudy Gobert and Jaren Jackson Jr. These are some of the names that were on the list of guys that had a certain amount of 5 block games before turning 26. The funny thing about that is, once again, Victor Wembanyama's been in the league for 3 seasons now. And if you look at how other guys have fared as far as 5 block games in their career, and you look at guys like Hakeem Olajuwon, and you look at guys like David Robinson, hell, you look at someone like Mark Eaton, Victor Wembanyama in 3 seasons, now we know he missed a lot of games, he has 59 games of 5+ blocks. That's impressive. That's really good for Victor Wembanyama. No doubt for him. Mark Eaton, who came into the NBA at 26 years old, he was a 26-year-old rookie, Mark Eaton, who was fixing cars before he came to the NBA. He averaged 5 blocks per game one of those seasons, and he had 48 games of 5 blocks that year. 48 games in 1 season. Victor Wembanyama is 59 in 3 seasons. So when we talk about the levels to this, guys like Hakeem Olajuwon, go look at how many games Hakeem Olajuwon had 5 blocks, the most he had in a season. It blows Victor Wembanyama out the water. Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Mutombo, they blow these guys out the water with 5 block games, but they promote these guys today as if they're doing something historic when the league is not historical.
Robin, JJ Redick left some categories out with his shit talking. He forgot mechanics when he was talking about plumbers and firemen. Let's not forget the fucking auto mechanics that beat everybody's asses too.
You think most of these active NBA players can even change a fucking tire?
Dude, I don't think most human beings can change a tire anymore.
Oh, that's scary.
And you know what's crazy, man? Again, if you think about Will Chamberlain, again, rest in peace, shout out to Will Chamberlain, man. Mark Eaton, who came in the league at 26 years old, I told you he was found as a mechanic in a garage, and he's 7'4", almost 300 pounds. He was called Mount Eaton. That was his nickname. He was a massive human being, just a giant guy. Played with John Stockton, Karl Malone, Jeff Malone, Thurl Bailey. The Utah Jazz were one of the top defensive teams of the late 80s into the early 90s, mid-90s, right? Because of guys like Mark Eaton that were on that squad just clogging up the lane alongside. I mean, think about the front court of Karl Malone and Mark Eaton. I mean, goddamn, you talking about beef down low? You talking about some big-ass dudes. So he had a conversation with Will Chamberlain when he first came into the league. And what Will Chamberlain told him was to focus on rebounding and defense. Don't worry about scoring. Don't worry about trying to get your points. Focus on rebounding, defense, setting screens. And that's what Mark Eaton did.
Hold on. 7'4", 275. and this like a somewhat ginger-headed, bearded mechanic. Would that dude scare you on the court?
Scare the fuck out of me.
Yep.
That would scare me in real life. Just walking around seeing somebody like that would terrify me.
Yep. I mean, if you think about, you just went off his stats, right? 7'4", 280 pounds, whatever the hell he's listed at. Like I said, he was close to a 300-pound dude. Because if you look at him, he wasn't like skinny-legged like Kevin Durant or skinny-legged like Victor Wembanyama or skinny arms. He was just a massive man. He was just a big-ass dude, man. If Kevin Durant, they have listed at 6'11" or something like that, like 240 pounds or something like that. Are you sitting there telling me that Kevin Durant is like 20 pounds less than Mark Eaton was? Get the hell out of here, man. Kevin Durant is all skin and bones. I posted that photo of him and Chet Holmgren working out together. Are you kidding me? It was bone on, bone crime. Look like Bone Thugs and Harmony out there.
Bone crime. Bone on crime. Wow.
Bone on bone.
Bone on bone crime. We can move past it.
Oh,
I just like talking about this.
Bitch. Sports and
I'm gonna
fitness.
steal that.
Bone on bone crime.
Well, it's time to contact. It's time to contact Uncommon Sense. He's gonna have to bring the Nate Dogg and the Bone on Bone Crime and combine them.
That's funny.
Okay. Before we move on, just gonna get to a few more of these supers.
Oh, holy shit!
TC coming through. Speam, you want to read this one?
Shout out to TC WM7 RJ. $20. Tracy McGrady is one of my favorite players of all time. I'm disappointed that he can't keep his mouth shut. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
it's very disappointing.
He's really not good
I
at keeping
loved
his
watching
mouth
him
shut.
and Vince Carter, man, in the 2000s. Loved it.
you know who's going to keep their mouth shut when you keep handing them a microphone and a paycheck simultaneously these days?
Yeah. Xavier to God coming through. Thank you, sir. I would put Kawhi over KD for the 2010s in all time.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is where we're at right now because guys like Kevin Durant's going down the LeBron James road, in my opinion. He's becoming unrankable against some of these players, man. Like, I mean, God damn it, with this nonsense with these dudes. We mentioned a lot of these players from other eras. I've never seen, remember, Kevin Durant's a top player of his era. Again, he's not one of the guys. He's one of the top players. And you have LeBron James and Kevin Durant, two of the top players of that era who nobody respects, who cheated for their championships. I mean, this is weak-ass stuff. And remember, Kevin Durant don't make his move unless LeBron James makes his move.
Robin, what was the quote that you mentioned earlier when you said something about KD basically talking about his life or his life being better than people? Doesn't that sound a lot like LeBron's post-game presser when he said, you guys all have to go back to your lives?
Yeah.
Ding, 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 my man Speam, you on the money. I mentioned that in my video earlier when I talked about these comments. I said LeBron James and Kevin Durant feel the same way about the common people. Everyday people like me and you, the people work down at the DMV, people doing construction work, right? People working at ShopRite. All these people that help the world go round and round, people who do all the stuff for these guys, their housekeepers, their butlers, their maids, the nurses, right? All these people doing all this stuff out there. Kevin Durant looks down on all these people. LeBron James looks down on all these people because they believe that their lives are better and our lives is crap because we're not famous and rich. This is weak stuff out here. Who believes this crap? Kevin Durant does. That's why he said, I mean, think about it. If he says, hey, I'm better at life than you guys are, why does he believe that? If I did my job as a correction officer as piss poor as Kevin Durant does his job in the NBA, I'd have been fired. I would have got put up on charges. I might have got somebody hurt in that jail. If I took shortcuts at my job, if we took shortcuts at our jobs like Kevin Durant did at his job, then we would be fired. We would not have done anything. Kevin Durant has taken shortcuts, cheated himself, cheated his job, cheated the co-workers at that job, and still thinks he's doing better at life than we are because he got some goddamn money. Dude, you have zero respect. All the money that Kevin Durant, LeBron James have, they still can't buy those things.
Picture this for a minute. When Katie's bitch ass went on LeBron's podcast, imagine them huddled together afterward, and LeBron's giving KD some evidence, some advice. Hey, man, you got to think about your future. You got to invest in the future. You get on as many podcasts as you can. Maybe start your own podcast, and it won't matter how you performed on the court. You'll just spend the rest of your life telling people what happened rather than them talking about what really did happen. And, maybe if you kiss my ass enough on this podcast, I can get you into broadcasting. Imagine the most undeserving people. We've listed a lot of undeserving people who get to be on TV analyzing sports. Imagine Kevin Durant, trying to form words every fucking 2.5 minutes. And still getting a paycheck to do it.
The one last thing I want to point out on KD, it's something from Robin's video when KD said he was talking shit since he was 10, and he'll hurt you in your soul.
Yep.
Who said this?
What?
KD said that.
Yep.
Oh,
That
God.
his comebacks are so harsh that he'll hurt you in your soul. I've never heard that bitch say anything that even registered as an insult to me.
He didn't even start talking until 5 years ago.
That's a great one, Siberius. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what Kevin Durant said. He's been doing this since he was 10, and he started talking about the interactions between him and the fans. And like Siberius said, he goes, you're going to be the one who leaves the interaction feeling effed up because I'm going to hurt your soul. And when you think about Kevin Durant and some of the interactions he's had online on Twitter with some of the fans, the back and forth, the funny thing about Kevin Durant is that he gets upset that people think they know him. And they be, yo, man, these guys don't know me. They think they can talk to me anyway. But Kevin Durant acts the same way. He talks to the fans as if he knows them personally, as if he's in their home, as if he knows how much money they make, how happy or not happy their lives are. I mean, it's just really weird things to say. He likes to make it personal when fans are coming at him about his frozen championships and finals MVPs. He'll say, yeah, well, you're a loser. I'm better at life than you. Dude, what does that got to do with your frozen MVPs and your frozen championships? This is what Kevin Durant does, though. He tries to go low when people are keeping it about the sport. Kevin Durant makes it a personal attack. I remember when he told the one guy who was talking to him on Twitter, and he said, yeah, man, that's why I don't wear your sneakers anymore. And he literally told the guy who was a fan of his, who said he bought his sneakers but doesn't want to wear them anymore because of the things that Kevin has been talking about and saying to the fans. He told that guy on Twitter to go throw them in the trash. I don't give a damn. You already spent your money on them. Now that's some crazy work right there.
When do you guys think he was corrupted? Because this was the same man that went up in front of a podium, crying in front of a bunch of people saying his mom's the real MVP.
Yep.
To me, that doesn't align with how he is now.
He changed.
When do you think it happened? Yeah, when did he change?
Well,
When did he get paid?
yeah. I don't
I
know.
want everybody to understand something with Kevin Durant, and we can move on. When Kevin Durant attacks the common people on Twitter or Facebook or wherever he decides to go back and forth, the problem with that is because why does Kevin Durant do this stuff? Because at the end of everything, the truth burns him. And the truth is, he knows nobody respects those championships. No matter what try to spin he tries to put on it, no matter what they say in the media, the truth hurts Kevin Durant a lot. And the truth is, your championships are fraudulent.
These guys, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, people like that talk about you don't know me, or in LeBron's case, fanboys would be like, oh, you don't know him. What do you want us to base that on? Because on the court, you act like a bitch. On your podcast, you act like a bitch. In your interviews, you act like a bitch. How much life remains? Like, we're supposed to actually just have faith that you turn into this great, different person when we can't see it. But every single goddamn time the camera's on you, you're a fucking piece of shit. I mean, how about if you stop being a piece of shit on camera?
Well, and that's another thing. I mean, actions speak louder than words. People can say whatever the hell they want to, but what you do speaks louder. What you do speaks to the truth of your nature and your character. So when they say, oh, you don't know LeBron, you're just hating on him. You don't know KD, you're just hating on him. I think I got a pretty good fucking idea of who he is.
I'm hating on what he's given me to work with.
And think about what you guys were just saying. Like Kevin Durant, all this stuff going on. I saw some people in the chat mention 2012 NBA Finals. I want people to think about the 2012 NBA Finals and what happened. We talk about this, oh man, they got robbed in the calls. Okay, so all these years later, why would Kevin Durant then, in fact, if we all saw it, Kevin Durant, I'm sure, saw what was going down. Why would you then go on LeBron James' podcast all those years later and start clowning Michael Jordan by saying, yeah, some people go play baseball. I don't know, man, but that's weird to me. So you go on LeBron James' podcast years after he cheated you in the finals. I don't get these guys, man. It's so weak to me that they cover for LeBron, make excuses, hang out with LeBron James, friendly with LeBron James, when the man literally cheated you. Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, he cheated all these guys, and they go on the podcast and they celebrate him. That's what makes them even worse.
Yeah, amen to that.
All right, let's get to some of these supers, and then we shall move on because we still got a lot of topics to discuss.
Yeah.
Rise Above Anything coming through. Thank you. I can't watch people that lie all day on podcasts. Sick. I mean, I wish they weren't allowed to, but they are. Amanda Ruiz coming through. Sports of Witness rants have been giving me Andrew Dice Clay vibes lately.
Yo, you know what's funny? Shout out to Amanda Ruiz, because I was just actually listening to an Andrew Dice Clay clip a couple of days ago, and when I saw the clip, I was like, is this guy still alive? So I had to Google Andrew Dice Clay to see if he was still alive. Yo, shout out to Andrew Dice Clay, still alive, man.
He is still alive. Vincent Garcia coming through. Thank you, sir. Sports and Fitness Ranch dropping them fifth word B's on them soy boys.
Let's go, baby. Shout out to my man Vicente, parking lot pimping.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on here. Next on the topic list here is Bob Myers on LeBron. This is a short clip. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it. I just wanted your guys' initial thoughts.
Fuck him and his polo. This is ridiculous. How much of this, you guys, do you think is just straight up Stockholm syndrome? Like, have they all been beaten into submission at this point?
It's not beaten. It's being paid. Bob Myers is never sitting in a room with those two dudes unless they're all getting a paycheck from the same person.
That was my first thought. Why are they even talking? What do they have to talk about? Why is this? What is this? You know what I mean?
I tell you right now, this Cousins podcast starting to get on my goddamn nerves. Starting to get on my nerves, man. I mean, my goodness, man. And this is what I get upset with, is because I respect and I like Vince Carter. I respect and I like Tracy McGrady when they played in the 2000s, man. To see these guys sit up on their podcast and start talking about, yeah, man, MVPs, man, that's more important than championship. Hey, yo, Vince, can you name the 10th, 11th guy on the bench on the Celtics? Could you name the guy on the Bulls bench? Could you name? They got rings. I mean, this is lame stuff, man. What the hell are you guys talking about? What I want to hear from these ex-players, someone like Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter, why don't you guys tell some childhood stories? You guys were cousins growing up, playing basketball at a high level. Give me some stories, man. That's all you guys are good for, is storytelling. You guys are not good for the facts. You guys ain't good for the truth. You guys have zero perspective, no context. I mean, the agendas are insane for this guy to sit there and say, I mean, the hardest path. Are you freaking kidding me, dude? The hardest path?
What?
The hardest path would have been him going to the freaking Clippers, or him going to the goddamn Brooklyn Nets, or him going to the Charlotte Hornets and turning a franchise that hasn't won a goddamn thing around. That would have been the hardest path.
Fucking path would be for him to go back to his life and raise his fucking kids. That's the hardest path. Give up basketball. We're fucking sick of it. The most difficult path for him is to give up basketball because we're fucking tired of it. That's the most difficult path for him.
Okay, I'll go with that. I'll go with that as the hardest path because he doesn't want to go home.
That's my point.
The second hardest path would have been for him, since he didn't take any blame in LA, to fucking fix the problem in LA by himself. Fucking do better next year. I mean, he runs and he runs and he runs and he runs and he gets praised for running. Somehow they twist the running into praise. Siberius, you just had a person's comment up. The hardest path, also interpreted as the path of least resistance. God, Bob Myers, you are one disgusting pile of dog shit. Holy crap, you're a scumbag. Since when did going to a team that has so much talent that no matter how bad you are, they might still win a championship, somehow equate to that guy who's the worst person on the team being the GOAT?
Right.
That's an
you see what they
equation.
do.
We don't have the math for that equation, AOH. We don't. We're not fit to handle that kind of math.
And look what they're doing to Joel Embiid now. You see all the stories going and reports about Joel Embiid. I just heard Max Kellerman on the podcast say that the Sixers should trade Joel Embiid or think about trading him.
Get the fuck out of here.
Every time LeBron James goes to a team, they need to get rid of the best players on the team, and they need other guys. This is why I say, for LeBron James, the grass is always greener on the other side.
He never fixes his grass. He's not the fertilizer that changes the grass from dying to growing green. They bring in a whole new goddamn lawn.
I mean, this guy, like I said, I've never heard this guy really speak on a podcast. It's the first time I've seen him on a podcast.
Yeah,
and of course, the first time he comes out, he says terrible stuff. I mean, let's be real. This guy's claim to fame is he was the general manager for the Warriors when they were winning championships. That's his claim to fame. Basically, Steph Curry is basically lifted this guy up into another realm. It's like what Michael Jordan did for Jerry Krause. You would have never known these freaking guys.
Thank you.
That's a
Thank
great
you.
comparison.
I was just thinking that. Like if Bob Myers didn't get Steph Curry, do we even know who he is? Because he didn't do a goddamn other thing. Like Steph Curry had to win with a bunch of other draftees. And
ask Bob Myers where he's been the last couple of years.
Trying to get broadcast jobs.
Exactly. Not doing his job.
All right, Xavier to God coming through again. Speem, can you read this one, please?
Shout out to Xavier to God. Both LBJ and KD trashes all their teammates who helped them win championships, and their fangirls follow. Both their fake friends and teammates and fake leaders. Truth.
No,
truth.
That's the facts. Shout out to Xavier to God.
How many seasons do we have to be right about this? Is my question. How many seasons do we have to keep repeating this bullshit? For everybody that says this is all you guys talk about, this is what's happening. I guess when it changes, maybe we'll change what we talk about. But it's not changing.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. How about when you let
we'll change ours?
How about when you let Jaylen Brown actually like lead the 76ers instead of pretending that LeBron James was the missing piece?
Yeah. Center Scoldham coming through. No message, just $1, but thank you for contributing, sir.
You know the one thing. No, go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I would say the one thing that really gets me, irritated when I hear a lot of these guys like this guy, Bob Myers. The one thing that really gets on my nerves, that really does, is when they say things like JJ Redick. You guys have no idea how much LeBron James cares. He's so competitive. You guys have no idea about LeBron James' competitiveness. You guys just don't know. What do you mean we don't know? Tell us how we don't know. We're watching the guy on the TV screen. You guys act like they play basketball in seclusion, that we've never seen the games before. Like these guys are playing in a tunnel somewhere in a cave, and they're going to tell us what actually happens. We see the guy. You can't tell me how much he cares when he's walking back on the defense. You can't tell me that he cares so much when the team stopped practicing for LeBron James. He cares so much the man ain't played 82 games but one time. And if you notice, the one time LeBron James played 82 games, his entire career as far as durability went downhill. The man played 82 games one season, and look at the games played after that 82-game season, guys. It all went downhill after that. The man played one game, one season like that, and it broke him.
Wow.
And Robin, they basically threw him a fucking parade. They acted like he won the championship the year he played 82 games. ESPN put a fucking banner on it. It was the year he led the league in assists. It was a whole fucking thing. ESPN did a whole thing on it. They showed a bunch of his highlights. When the fuck do you ever see them show anything about whoever led the league in assists? Ever. It's disgusting.
Yeah, this is the flip side of what I was saying earlier. It's like, oh, you want us to judge your personal life based on things we can't see, and you also want us to judge your basketball performance based on things we can't see. I'm like, can we? How much of liking these players is going to be based on 100% faith?
It's your fault, AOH. It's your fault for not understanding the nuance while they're being pieces of shit 24/7. Remember, you need to pick apart what they're trying to do. That's your fault.
I feel like this is a good time for Siberius to throw my screenshot up.
All right.
Let's do it.
So Enes Kanter got some news for his shirt that defined a woman. And, we don't have to go into the whole men and women's sports and all that stuff. I don't think we have the luxury of worrying about that because we don't have men in the NBA right now.
Touche, sir. Touche.
We do not have men in the NBA right now. When we get all the goddamn bitches out of the NBA, you can stop worrying about whether or not worrying about who's in the WNBA, because we just have a goddamn party of fucking desperate housewives pretending to play basketball in the fucking NBA. Fuck all of them.
There's a great screenshot. Shout out to my man AOH for coming with the B word on the man definition. And all this other stuff. You know, oh my God.
Hey, send that to Kendrick Perkins so he can learn a new word.
Goodness gracious, man. I swear to goodness, man. I really don't. I don't even know sometimes, where to begin when you think. You know what's funny? It's like the NBA right now, like what we've been dealing with over the last, 5-6 years or so, really bad. But it reminds me of like a job, right? That you work. A lot of us have had jobs, many jobs. Some of us have worked, have been the pleasure of working the same job for a long time. But a lot of us have worked jobs where you love the job, you enjoy the job, but you don't really let the people you work with. The people you work with are the problem at your work. Maybe you have a bunch of bare minimum kind of people. You have a bunch of people there that are always coming in late, right? You got to pick up their slack all the time. That's what's going on in the NBA right now. You have a league that we all respect and love, but what has happened now is you have people in that league that have ruined the job for you. Now you don't even like the job now, right? Because people have ruined it. So when you think about LeBron James, the Kevin Durant, the James Harden, the Kawhi Leonard, the Paul Georges, these guys are handcuffing the league, and they have ruined it. So where now you don't even like that job anymore, right? You can't stand those people at the work. You need them to go away. That's what we need, those guys to go away.
Go away, Goose.
Sadly, they're not going to. All right, so the next thing on the list, I'm really curious. It's a short clip. But it was infuriating. So I'm definitely curious to hear what you guys have to say about it.
Y'all seen the video yesterday when KD was working out with Dash? It was him and Chet. They was playing ones. KD was knocking down the Tracy, knocking down the turnaround fade, putting the ball on the floor, making the midi, and finishing at the rim. I'm looking at it. I'm just so impressed. I'm coming like, boy, Michael Jordan ain't never had to play against nothing like this. And so, like 40,000 people like to comment, but people in there arguing with me saying that Michael Jordan played against 7-footers. He did not play against any 7-footer who can put the ball on the floor, shoot the Tracy, finish the midi, and finish at the rim. If he did, please tell me when. When did he do that? You got KD, Chet, Wemby. Michael Jordan did not play against any player of that caliber. Even Giannis ain't 7 foot, but he's never had to play against a player so athletic like Giannis is going coastal. Dudes these days are more skilled. All I'm trying to say, they're more skilled. The game has evolved. No disrespect to Michael Jordan, he was good, but the guys he was playing against were not as good as the guys today. Michael Jordan's point guard was Steve Kerr. Now we have Steph. We got Kyrie. Come on, bro. Michael Jordan ain't never played against no 7-footer who can score on all three levels.
I feel myself clenching my fist.
You have to stop, dude. Is that your fault, Cedrius?
Well, yeah, I'm the one that brought that to the table.
Yeah. Okay. I hear the shame in your voice, rightfully so. God damn. What the fuck are you doing to us?
Go ahead, Robin. You're foaming at the mouth. Go ahead.
Yo, that was some bad stuff right there, man. I mean, my man was really, he thought
how
that
many 7-footers did I just
list? That if he said it with his chest, then that would mean more, and that would really make it hit home. And again, it's funny how they always go to Michael Jordan, right? That really shows you that Michael Jordan is the standard. Whenever Michael Jordan's not involved in a certain thing, they inject Michael Jordan into that conversation. Yeah, Jordan never had to go against. Why would you even mention Michael Jordan? So again, shows Michael Jordan the standard. The funny thing that he said there about Giannis and some of these guys, Wembanyama and Kevin Durant and these guys being so tall, we ain't never seen nobody this size that could do all these things. The guys today can only appear to do those things because of the standard of officiating, my man. Shaquille O'Neal was doing this stuff in the 90s under stricter officiating standards. I just mentioned Deadlift Shrimp. He was 6'10". He could dribble the ball, man. He was a better ball handler than Dirk Nowitzki was. So what are we talking about here? So when you talk about the guys that are so tall that they could do XYZ, I hate when I hear 3-level score. That's lame as hell. Why are we talking about 3-level scoring of basketball when most of NBA's history didn't even have a 3-point line? In the 90s, that was what? The 10th year the NBA had a three-point line? So you're talking about an era that instituted three-point line as these guys were playing the game. There were a lot of those guys, Michael Jordan included. These guys did not play with three-point lines in college. They didn't have this stuff. So when you come into the NBA, you haven't been practicing the three-point shot your entire college career. So these guys are learning the three-point shot in the NBA as they're going through their careers. That's how skilled and great those guys were. Because if the NBA wasn't skilled, if those guys weren't that good, the NBA three-point line wouldn't even be here today. They wouldn't have been able to utilize it in a way that would help the NBA grow. The three-point line stuck around because those guys were able to adapt to it and include it in the game. There was a balance there, not 3 points every play, every game.
That's a more. That's
Robin.
a more
In
detailed-
addition to all that,
No,
one thing.
Shut up.
Go ahead, Ayush. Go ahead, Ayush.
Thank you.
Go ahead. You have my permission to proceed. Go ahead.
That's a detailed analysis of the game of basketball. But a simplistic version of that is he just admitted that today's big man is someone you don't have to worry about ever meeting in the paint, which is much more of a concern. And
Thank you.
back to the definition I just had on the screen: bitches playing bitch ball.
In addition to that, though, all that shooting and scoring and dribbling, what does it amount to? Like, does it amount to winning a chip? Does it amount to greatness? It doesn't mean anything.
And you mean dribbling every 3 seconds in between carries, right?
Right. Like all that. Okay, cool. You're a 7-footer that can shoot from 3. All right, cool. But what does that mean within the context of basketball right now? It doesn't equate to winning. So you're just bringing it up as a means of something that's different about today's game.
Yeah,
it doesn't. It's like it's empty.
He said bro, though. He really meant it. No, did that kid not see Chet Holmgren?
I'm not going to lie to you, to tell you the truth.
Did he not see Chet Holmgren in the playoffs this past year that we just watched? Chet Holmgren was horrendous. Horrendous. Yep. So if I was Kevin Durant, why would I then call and contact Chet Holmgren to play defense against me? Dude, you can't play defense. We just saw that. You were exposed heavily. It's Chet, think about it. Chet Holmgren was a runner-up to Defensive Player of the Year award. You think Chet Holmgren's going to be runner-up in the 90s to a DP? Oh, my. He mentioned Giannis, and I respect Giannis, man. I like Giannis. The funny thing about him bringing up Giannis as a skilled offensive guy that can go coast to coast and do all this stuff, how can he do that? Giannis is notoriously dribbling, carrying, traveling all over the goddamn court. Giannis is also known for not having a lot of skills on the offensive end. When you think about some of the guys he mentioned, think about 7-footers. If we mention, I see you guys in the chat throwing out Hakeem Olajuwon. He's still teaching guys in this era. Hakeem Olajuwon, people are paying $20,000 to be taught by a guy who played in the 90s. But they say the 90s guys weren't that skilled. They're so skilled that one of the top players of that era is training the guys today. Think about the two-way players of the 90s that were 7 feet tall. The David Robinsons, the Ewings, right? These guys are two-way players. Chet Holmgren's not a two-way play like David Robinson or Patrick Ewing. Not even close. He's not a two-way play like Shaq was or Olajuwon.
So Robin mentioned Chet being horrendous, but I have specific memories of when Chet wasn't horrendous, and that was against LeBron James. I remember in the elimination game, just about every point scored by the Thunder as they were eliminating the Lakers was against LeBron James. I mean, thank you once again, LeBron James. You made Gobert have the game of his life. You made Chet Holmgren have the game of his life right before Chet Holmgren was criticized for being ass. I mean, what the fuck does that tell you about LeBron James?
I'm so tired of people trying to downplay an entire era. It's not just Michael Jordan. You're downplaying an entire era of players. And again, you're knocking guys that played their positions. That's what made the NBA so watchable, because guys played positions. You saw guys. I mean, think about the post-up game. You never heard that kid mention a post-up game or all that stuff. He's like 3-level score. He come with the midi. He come with the Tracy. Who the hell's Tracy? Tracy what? Tracy McGrady? What do you mean? Yeah, he knocked that Tracy down. I don't even know what these kids are talking about, man. All right, this is weak-ass stuff out here, man. I'm so tired of these guys downplaying this era. Them dudes had fundamentals. Those guys had skills, man. All right, the guys today, Where's their post-up game? Who got a better post-up game? Michael Jordan or the 7-footers in this era? Michael Jordan's post-up game is better than every single player in the NBA currently. There's not even a big man that got a post-up game like Hakeem Olajuwon. You name me a big guy that can move down low like Kevin McHale. Got the up and unders and the footwork of Kevin McHale down low. You show me a guy rebounding like Moses Malone. You show me a guy playing defense like Gary Payton or Dennis Rodman on this era of NBA. You don't see this crap. We're the rebounders. Nikola Jokic led the NBA in assists, playing 64 freaking games. And the assist numbers are pathetic, guys.
I knew that would spark the fire because that guy would just spout
play positions.
Dumbasses with cameras. Everyone deserves to be heard, apparently.
Insane stuff.
Robin, I had no idea what that kid was saying, by the way. You're not alone. I don't know who Tracy is. I know what a MIDI is. I know what a Hezi is. He might have said Hezi, but I needed subtitles for that entire thing or translation.
Actually, I'd like a definition. Does a Hezi mean when you entirely stop dribbling completely because you have control of the ball and then just start dribbling again like a goddamn toddler? Because that's what you consider control of the ball.
Hezi is when you put your hand completely under the ball, act like you're going to take a jump shot, put both hands on the ball, right? Take a jump shot, and then start dribbling again. That's called a Hezi.
Right, an illegal move.
It's legal now. It's cool. It's good. You're fine. We're good.
I know, but they've even taken that further to where I described it as just like you watch these. I was watching the Wilt Chamberlain archive. I was watching the examples. If you guys notice, the exact moment that today's players always cheat is the most difficult point of a legal dribble. When you're trying to do something and you're like, oh, I'm going to change directions. I'm going to change my body. I'm going to cross to the other side of the court. This is the most challenging moment for you to still be able to dribble with your hand on top of the ball. This is the exact moment that today's NBA players just don't even bother. Fuck it. Let me just put my hand under the ball and take a goddamn break. And then I'll reconvene whenever my body's facing the direction that I want to face. That's embarrassing. Right. That is toddler level basketball skill.
Well, Tim Hardaway does not get the credit he deserves for his crossover in the grand scheme of things, because he might have the last non-carry crossover that I've seen. Because Iverson, as much as I was a huge fan of him, he carried. Tim Hardaway didn't carry. His was a straight left to right crossover or right to left crossover. And to your point, AOH, he made it look easy. I didn't think about, they put their hand under the ball because it's too difficult for them to dribble the natural way. But I guess that just got lost in the sauce somewhere.
You know what's really sad? And you made some great points right there, Speem. And I think what he was saying when he said Tracy, he's saying a three-pointer, right? He's saying a Tracy,
well, that's
three-pointer.
Stupid.
Right? And I know that's what he meant. But again, it sounds stupid when you say it. It sounds like a goofy-ass kid. Like these guys, they're a bunch of goofs, man. We get that. He said a bunch of goofy-ass things. He looked like a goof. The background was goofy as hell. I mean, the dude looked like he was sitting in a jail cell, man. He was in a dark room or something. I don't freaking know what's going on here, man. But you're over here talking about basketball, and you're saying crazy things about Michael Jordan. Because again, when you say that Jordan didn't go against anybody like this, again, you're talking about an entire era that you don't even know about. When people talk about Michael Jordan's scoring ability and they say, well, Michael Jordan's the greatest scorer of all time, it's not just about the 10 scoring titles or the point per game in the regular season, the playoffs. It's about the overall offensive game that Michael Jordan actually had. We know Michael Jordan had a well-rounded offensive game. Why did he have a well-rounded offensive game? Not just because of his work ethic and him not resting on his laurels, putting the work in all those years, we know that, but also because the competition demanded that. Steel sharpens steel. When you come in the NBA as a rookie and you're going against Dennis Johnson and you're going against guys like Sidney Moncrief who are elite perimeter defensive guys, you're going up against guys like Joe Dumars early in your career. You're going against the Dennis Rodmans, right? You're going against a lot of great defensive players, Alvin Robertson. All of a sudden, your skills are forced, right, to get greater because you're going against some of the greatest defenders, Michael Cooper. Michael Jordan didn't come in or get great because the league got weak. They tell you, oh, the league was an expansion league, and all of a sudden Michael Jordan started winning. No, he had to work and grind it out and get his skills on that level going against some of these great defensive guys.
Let me bring this back to the beginning of the show. We talked about the bad influence of someone like Kevin Durant, and we talked about someone like Kevin Durant going on a podcast, and we don't even know what the fuck he was saying, but he was saying it with his chest. And here we have a stupid kid that has no goddamn idea what he's saying, but he's saying it with his chest. He's, hey, I saw some fucking asshole NBA player doing this on a podcast. I'm going to do the same thing. Should I bother to go and look and find out if I know what I'm talking about? No. And I mean, goddamn, Kevin Durant doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, and he's getting paid millions of dollars to go on a podcast and sound like a goddamn idiot. Why don't I just turn on the camera, don't change the background, don't turn off the goddamn background noise, and spout off some goddamn nonsense? Why not? I have a fucking phone. All right, that's all there is to it. I have a phone and a couple of thoughts that are sort of clinging around. That's all you need.
Well, the other part of this that we could attack, and let's just, I mean, obviously being completely hypothetical, but let's just say that Jordan never faced anybody with KD's skill set. Okay, fine. He never did. It's bullshit, but he never did. Has KD ever faced anyone like the defense that Jordan faced? Because Jordan is the greatest scorer of all time in my fucking brain. In opposition of the greatest some of the greatest defense ever played. That's what made him the greatest scorer of all time, is he was going against the best defense ever being played. KD has played against the weakest defense ever played. How many scoring titles has he won? How many championships has he won? What the fuck is he bringing to the table with all of his elite 3-level play that Jordan didn't bring to the table against actual opposition? So if they want to say that, we can play that game too.
Right.
Not only is that a fantastic point, it's almost that KD is, he's one of the most prolific scorers, however you feel about him, right? For in this era, he is one of the most prolific scorers we've ever seen, right? Do you think KD would have been able to do this in the 90s, the late 80s, the 90s, when you can put paws on somebody, rough them up, actually give them a real flagrant foul, put them on the ground because they're going to the paint too much? KD, who's one of the best scorers in this era, not to play time travel basketball and get caught that trap, but there's no way he could maneuver like he does now back in the 90s, right? And that's a great scorer. Now think about all the other decent scorers in the league. How many of them have the wherewithal or the skill set that you could say could last in the 90s? And that deads it right there. That deads it right there. The greatest scorers in this era would not be able to deal with somebody hand checking them or giving them a real flagrant foul, making them bleed and saying, yo, stop coming into the paint. We're going to stop letting you come to the paint. Hey, Ja Morant, stop these insane dunks that you know you're not going to finish. We're going to put you on the ground now, so you stop doing that. How many players, which was a thing in the 90s, and it was respected. It was like fighting in hockey. Like, yeah, maybe people didn't like it, but you respected it because it taught you to stop going into the paint. How many players today could manage that now? I don't think there's one active player that would be able to put up with that level of enforcement. There's not one active player that could deal with Rasheed Wallace coming in and getting hard fouls, right? There's not one active player that could come in and deal with an enforcer and say, listen, I'm going to put you on the line and make you hit these free throws. I'm going to shake you up. I'm going to show you how soft mentally you are. There's not one. Great point.
That was great right there, Speen. You hit some really good stuff. And Siberius, you made a great point about Jordan and the defenses he faced, the defense of the teams that he went against. And you have the highest average in the regular season and the playoffs going against those defenses. So like you said, that shows and proves, why he's regarded that way. And Speen, the things that you were just mentioned about Kevin Durant being one of the great scorers of his era, I mean, they argue he's the greatest scorer of all time. I've heard people say that he's the most skilled scorer in NBA's history, more skilled and a greater scorer than Jordan. Meanwhile, the man's never even cracked 60 points in a game. And if you listen to his explanation why, he says, yeah, well, teams are double teaming me and they're running all this action and they're running all these defensive schemes at me. Like, he's the only scorer in NBA's history who's dealing with team schemes Like, are you freaking kidding me? I couldn't believe he said that stuff. That shows you right there, the mentality alone, that you would not be one of the great scorers in the 90s because you don't even have the mentality for that. You're scared of the double teams, the triple teams. So like you mentioned, Speed, he's absolutely going to be scared of the physical defense that they could play against him. So for Kevin Durant to be viewed as one of the great scorers of his era, if not the great scorer of his era, and one of the great scorers of all time, it's fraudulent to me because, again, when you look at how he plays the game, the way the game is officiated, and except the teams that he's gone against, what is Kevin Durant proving that his offense is good enough to do? Jump on Steph Curry's team?
Well, and also, how many of these so-called elite scorers in the modern era get shut down in the playoffs when they let them play slightly more physical?
Right.
Not elite physicality, not, no 3-second rule, not with hand checking allowed, just slightly more physical defense and their game goes to shit.
Right. And remember, all these guys that are playing in this era, where we were just talking about some of the stuff before with, Michael Jordan never went against the Kevin Durant. Like you said, Tiberius, even if we say Michael Jordan never faced a 7-foot guy with a 7'6" wingspan that could carry the ball and do all the crossovers and the hesitation pull of Kevin Durant. Okay, we'll give you that. The problem then comes, though, is when you think about the entirety of the NBA overall. Kevin Durant never played against true legit point guards, never played against true legit centers down low. They had to worry about coming and tearing your head off like that all the goddamn time. Like Cyrus mentioned, you never had to worry about them power forwards down there. Because remember, it wasn't just a center. It was the center power forward combo. It was Otis Thorpe and Hakeem Olajuwon. It was Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley, right? You had multiple guys down low that will put you on your butt, man, that could hurt you down there. So when you think about the combinations of guys, the stoutness of them, how the game was played, and Kevin Durant, people say they never played against Kevin Durant. Well, these guys never played against Hakeem Olajuwon. They never had to go against Shaq like that. They never, remember, Michael Jordan played against all these guys, right, during those years, man. And again, earning it the reputation of the greatest player of the golden era.
I think you better get to some supers. There's some that are going right along with what Essenavar just said.
All right, let's get to that. Xavier the God coming through. LeBron upgraded from having 2 other All-Stars on his team and having 3 All-Stars on his team and potentially having 4 All-Stars on his team. And it's still not going to amount to shit. Their first-round exit at best.
Yeah.
Who's the
Watch.
4th?
Xavier
who
the God
were the
coming
4?
through again. Thank you. Philly did a LeBron day when he joined. What a joke. Yeah, I saw that embarrassing shit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was the governor of
oh, that thing. Yeah. Josh Shapiro.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot about that. Yeah, my state is embarrassing. I apologize, folks.
I mean, I would be embarrassed if I were you.
Yeah.
Jeremy Jones coming through. Thank you. LeBron is a vampire. Once you invite him in, he'll bleed the life out of your existence.
Yo, that is so true.
I like
Yeah,
that.
by the
Shout
way-
out to Jeremy Jones.
Wait for all those all-stars you just listed to disappear from NBA history after this.
Oh, BJ.
Carl Harv. Thank you for coming through, Carl Harv. Manute Bol, Dikembe, Samsung, all over 7 feet tall.
Right.
And they were doing big men jobs. They weren't, chucking up fucking threes.
They were
And
planted
remember
in
where
the
they
paint,
belong.
playing defense.
I
Being
saw
big
Manute
men.
Ball hit 6 threes in a game.
Yeah.
Never jumped. The man didn't jump. He was just shooting like that. From the jungles of Africa.
The one thing that I remember from Manute Bol, I'm not sure if you guys remember it, but there was a Sports Illustrated issue and it was 2 pages, him in a swimming pool, and he took up both pages.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, man. Shout out to Manute Ball. Rest in peace to Manute Ball, man. Like I said, who knows how old he was when he was playing the game. But that's the fact. So again, we just mentioned a 7'7" guy, 7'6", whatever Manute Ball was, that was raining 6 threes in a game in an era that people say people couldn't shoot. I remember Tracy Murray when the Bulls played against the Washington Bullets in the playoffs that year. I remember Tracy Murray. I mean, he was destroying Scottie Pippen in one of these games, man. I mean, he was raining threes, and Tracy McGrady was a pretty big guy, and he was out there cashing the outside shots against Scottie Pippen, man.
Yep. King Booker World coming through. Katie don't even know what to do against a double team. Absolutely. He was whining and crying about it. How many modern era players have we heard cry about double teams? Ant was crying about double teams.
Devin Booker
cried about double teams.
Devin Booker, the most embarrassing
Booker,
complaint of a double team publicly I'd ever seen. It was a whole crash out because he was getting double teamed in a practice. Devin Booker, who makes $67 million a year to fall short every single season. Rest in peace to Dikembe Mutombo also. You know what's awesome about Dikembe Mutombo? Built entire infrastructures where he came from, and you never heard about it. They didn't have to prop him up about being this good Samaritan. Literally built communities, saved communities by himself. Never heard about it.
Yep. Shout out to him.
Shout out to Dikembe. Rest in peace.
Yo,
Dikembe
Dakota,
Mutombo.
don't be correcting me in the chat, all right, man? I said Tracy Murray. Tracy Murray.
No,
All
you
right,
said
open
Tracy
your
McGrady.
ears up.
Robin, you did say Tracy McGrady first.
Murray.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
No. He said Tracy Murray once, and then he said Tracy McGrady. We'll go back. You did do that. I don't want you to fight me in front of everybody, but you did do
This
that.
dude said Tracy Murphy, not McGrady, Robin. And remember, when I said that somebody was happy that I wasn't here that day, Dakota was that person. I'm gonna shout you out, Dakota. Don't be a clown out here in the chat. Dakota's a really weird person. Dakota always crying because I don't trap on SGA every video. I'm not SGA's keeper. He just gets upset because I talk about Nikola Jokic sometimes and his crappy fans. Don't be weird in the chat, dude. I'll call you out quick.
Don't be pulling Robin's string and making him go off.
Don't be weird in the chat. Make a video about it. You don't even know who Tracy Murray is, Dakota.
All right, Vincent Garcia coming through. The Admiral going to Snapchat like a twig. You can't make a Tracy when you're on the bench because you got beat up and are in foul trouble.
Oh, that came out of nowhere. Oh my God.
Yo, shout out to my man Vicente because he's on the money with that. David Robinson versus Chet Holmgren. Chet, are you kidding me, man? God damn. I mean, you ever see David Robinson run the court?
Hey, I continue to forget how intimidating these dudes were because of the brainwashing. I'm immune to the brainwashing, and still it seeps through. And I think it was the Real Mind Crime came across my feed of him doing my 1993 All-Star game versus 2024 like full intensity, and it was like not comparable. But these big dudes were fucking going at each other, and they were big. Not just tall, they were big and dunking on each other and blocking each other and like people fouling out in a goddamn all-star game.
And vicious.
Hey, can we be the show that dropped some breaking news real quick? The Clippers were stripped of 5 first-round picks, and Steve Ballmer was fined $30 million as a result of the Kawhi investigation ruling.
I'm sorry, there
But
was
I thought
no
they were
evidence.
found not guilty.
I thought so too.
They weren't just found not guilty. There was zero evidence last time.
Yeah, that's exactly what they said.
Kawhi Leonard has to pay $700,000 in restitution in addition.
Nothing means anything anymore. God damn it.
Wow. I mean, that's just crazy.
See, and you know what's funny? Is earlier in the show, we saw the chat, and they talked about Kawhi Leonard. And it was like, I'll rank Kawhi Leonard above Kevin Durant. And we said, or I said, that Kevin Durant's becoming like LeBron James soon, unrankable in these debates. However, Kawhi Leonard's almost becoming unrankable also, man. I mean, come on. I appreciate and respect Kawhi Leonard's game. I do, man. The way he could play on both sides of the court. I've mentioned 2017 Western Conference Finals many, many times on my channel. I've given Kawhi his props, but I've also, once again, kept it real with Kawhi Leonard and set the record straight on a lot of his fans because, again, when you think about how many games he's missed, and then you see all this nonsense going on behind the scenes with the Clippers and all this other crap, I mean, goddamn, dude. And again, remember, they promote him as a cyborg that's missed 1 billion games. This is the most rusty, malfunctioning cyborg that I've ever heard of in my life, man. If the Terminator movie was based off of Kawhi Leonard as the cyborg, the movie would have been over in the first couple of minutes.
Hey, shout out to Sarah Connor.
Yo, Sarah Connor would bust these guys down in the NBA.
True.
Yo, you saw that scene in Terminator 2 when she was doing the pull-ups? You got grown-ass men like
exactly
KD.
what you mean.
They can't do no pull-ups like that. You remember when Linda Hamilton was cocking the shotgun in one hand and blasting the Terminator, then cocking it, blasting him again?
Yep.
If you're doing pull-ups, you know you're a badass.
You know how hard it is for a woman to do a pull-up?
That was Linda Hamilton was bad. Like, she killed that. Shout out
I'm
to
telling you
Sky.
right now, women don't have the upper body strength of men. They don't have that musculature. So for a woman, again, shout out to my wife because she can do a couple of pull-ups because we've been working on that for some time now. It's not easy for a woman to do a pull-up. And Linda Hamilton was older at that time and she was busting them out.
Dude, pull-ups are crazy. Pull-ups aren't
Yeah,
easy.
Robin, let's not talk about women and what they can do. They didn't like us being political or having different opinions.
I just
on something
gave
outside
women
of sports.
props. This is not political. Women do not have the upper body development of men. That's a fact. That's just the way the bodies are made. Again, but for a woman to do a pull-up, that's hard as hell, man. You have grown-ass men that can't do pull-ups.
Flat earther.
Grown men can't do a pull-up because it's very hard to do.
All right.
I know. I would pay. I would pay top dollar to see Kevin Durant try to do a pull up and be allowed to film it. Do you know how much? Do you know how much money I would make filming Kevin Durant trying to do a pull up? I mean, that's some fucking comedy. I'm about to walk off screen and start laughing myself just imagining him trying to do a pull up. He can't do it. Anyone here disagree? Who thinks Kevin Durant can do a pull up?
No, I don't. I feel like his bones would break off.
Like a full like a legit full length, full extension.
No.
To lock off, no way.
Yeah.
No
So
way.
hey, Kevin Durant, you're down at the level that Robin just put women at. Way to go, bro.
And like I said, man, so shout out to everybody in the chat that's adding to the comments here. You guys are saying some good things. And you guys know, they say the same thing. It's not easy to do pull-ups. When I talk on my channel about body weight exercises, I'm always promoting for people to master their body weight, especially before they go to weights. Especially if you're younger, you shouldn't be trying to master the bench press or the deadlift or curl how much weight you can. You should be focusing on your body weight, mastering your body weight. Pull-ups, push-ups, dips, squats, walking lunges, right? Carries, right? Planks. All these kinds of things are things that you should be doing to master your body weight. When you master your body weight, it helps you maintain a certain weight because you're conscious of your body weight. If you're always doing pull-ups, if you're always doing push-ups, body weight exercises, if you gain 1 pound, you will notice it right away because everything becomes harder now for you to do.
Okay. Let's go ahead and move on. Next on the list is Tim Hardaway destroys Chris Bosh for saying that Jordan and Kobe are ring chasers. So let's get into this clip and let's talk about it.
Damn respect too.
You are a person I do not respect. The things you say, your actions, your methods and style, everything you would do, I would do it the opposite way. And the more I've gotten to know you, the less I've come to respect you.
That was just basketball. It's just basketball.
I'm the turnover king. 5,000 and count. I like to
I'm not even gonna fast forward through Uncommon intro because they're all doing it.
That's 3.5. Cause I'm the turnover king. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you are having a truly fantastic day. 3.5. Mickey Mouse don't count. Welcome back, my people. Welcome back. Shout out to Tim Hardaway in the Crossover Podcast. So, as you all know, recently Chris Bosh, one who was part of the Big Three, one who gave up his legacy to help boost LeBron James' legacy, recently said that if LeBron James is a ring chaser, then that means Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan are ring chasers too, people.
But Philly was a pretty good choice too. So, a lot of people call it ring chasing. Everybody chases rings. If you didn't think Kobe and Jordan weren't ring chasers too, you're crazy. Everybody want a ring.
Fucking psychopath. He really thought he said something there, huh?
Well, so this is what makes me laugh about it is because I believe it's even later on in the clip they're talking about, well, I don't think Bosch understood exactly what they were saying. Okay, so you're either fucking stupid or an idiot.
Well, why are people who don't know what they're talking about talking?
Right.
This is, I think this may have even been the original motivation for me to talk about little boys at recess. Let's get together and make ourselves feel better by talking some nonsense. Like the path of least resistance is not respectable, people. There's a reason people always respect Jordan's path more than LeBron's multiple paths, and every single one of LeBron's multiple paths have just been shockingly embarrassing. Every single one of them. Every single one of them has been running as soon as things get tough. Every single one of them has been super team forming. Every single one of them has been an entire roster reform. Yeah. Anyway, Chris Bosh, we mentioned earlier that all the people who have just fucked themselves and end up apparently okay with it. Like, oh, well, I fucked my career for LeBron and I'm going to continue to fuck myself for whatever these residual clutch sports checks are. I mean, when you think about Chris Bosh, I wonder how many people even think of him as an NBA champion. Because
I don't think a lot of people do. That's a great point.
No.
I just remember him getting liquor poured down his mouth in front of a bunch of other grown men. And that being one of the craziest things I've ever seen live.
Oh, put my screenshot back up.
You know what I don't get about Chris Bosh
exactly.
in particular and what he said is that when you, like we said with the other guys, like all the things that LeBron James fan base has done to Chris Bosh legacy. You just mentioned that you didn't even remember or consider him a champion. You think about how the way the LeBron James fans and the media members remember Chris Bosh. So I find it very, I'm confused how a grown man who's being trashed by another grown man's fan base, that grown man never stands up for Chris Bosh in the public. He never tells his fans, hey, man, why y'all always trashing Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade out there? Never says any of this stuff. And yet Chris Bosh comes out here and defends him? And starts talking about, Kobe and Jordan. Why are you bringing up Kobe and Jordan again? Because, again, you have to bring those guys up to make it seem like they did what LeBron James did. No, they did not. Anyone that knows the game, that's been watching it for some time, you absolutely 100% know what Chris Bosh said was a bunch of BS, man. And he dropped Kobe and Jordan's name in there to try to make it seem, hey, man, he's doing the same thing as those guys did. Are you freaking kidding me, man? And also, how come when you think about LeBron James' teammates, right, and we say all of LeBron James' teammates get trashed, but his teammates will always pump him up. Meanwhile, Michael Jordan's teammates get pumped up, and then his teammates turn around and trash him. I don't get that. Why do you guys think you've been promoted and pumped up Pippen, Grant, Rodman, Harper, Kerr, Paxson? The kid just mentioned Steve Kerr was Michael Jordan's point guard as a knock on the 90s. All you did was contradict yourself because you guys make it seem like Jordan had a stacked team, but now you're saying Steve Kerr's his point guard. Yeah, and he won a 3-peat with that freaking guy. He did a 3-peat with Paxson as his point guard. But again, this makes no sense.
Nope. So many good points.
And the calling Jordan a ring chaser when he went to the Wizards when he came back is insane. I'm not even sure that people are familiar with all of the fucking options that he had when he came back. He could have went to the Lakers. Robin, you were just talking about it, and I was so glad that you did, that you talked about Mark Cuban offered him to come to the Mavs and offered him like part ownership of the team to come play for the Mavs. And Jordan said, no, I made a promise to the Wizards. I stand by my word.
Same thing with the Lakers. But we're only, this is actually significant news, and we're still only learning about it decades later.
Yeah.
Yep. No, you're right.
I mean, you don't go to the Wizards if your goal is to get a ring. He went there. Come on.
And again, just defend LeBron James. Defend LeBron James. Don't throw Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan in the mix to defend him. Just defend LeBron James on the facts. The problem is Chris Bosh couldn't defend LeBron James on the facts. So again, this is what LeBron James fans do. Chris Bosh is a LeBron James fan. That's how I view him. With these comments, you're a LeBron James fan, man. LeBron James fans always want to bring up these other scenarios, these other instances to make it seem as if LeBron James didn't do nothing wrong. They call LeBron a ring chaser. They bring up Charles Barkley. They bring up Jordan. They bring up Kobe, right? LeBron James for super teams. No, Jordan had a super team first. All of a sudden now Jordan's on a super team. Never heard this stuff in the 90s. All of a sudden 30 years later, Jordan's on a super team.
Right. And that comment you have up from Newman is quite something. Bosh will get his jersey retired in Toronto soon. Yeah. And he also says, I'll never forget that they needed police protection when he came back after going to the Heat. And that dude's going to get his jersey retired. I mean, goddamn, they over-glorify all these dudes. Chris Bosh didn't accomplish a fucking thing in Toronto. In fact, he bailed on Toronto to do what LeBron does and take the easy path. LeBron James taught multiple people in the NBA, hey, take the easy path. And we wonder sometimes why they continue to do it. Well, where are the consequences? How many goddamn times have I asked that question? Where are the consequences? This fucking bitch named Chris Bosh is going to get his jersey retired for bailing on a town? He didn't bring them a goddamn thing. You're going to retire his jersey?
I would retire Kawhi's jersey before I retire Chris Bosh's in Toronto.
They're going to retire Kyle Lowry's jersey this season. It'll be Kyle Lowry and Vince Carter with the only retired jerseys. I mean, that's a pretty bad history for Toronto. Those are your top players? Kyle Lowry?
It's interesting, Kyle Lowry, though, and not what's the dude that just got signed? What was his running mate's name? We just talked about him last week. DeMar DeRozan. It's interesting that they retire Lowry.
Well, because Lowry retired.
Aren't they about to be renamed the Toronto Americans?
Are they?
Wait, what? Oh, I get it. That was good. Yo, that was a good one. Good for you. Let's celebrate the same day next year. That was a good joke. Hey, wait.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Damon Stoudemire. Shout out to Damon Stoudemire. Had one of the nicest sneakers ever. Who said that this year? Damon Stoudemire retired his jersey. Shout out to Jacob Gordon 7998.
Before we get too far behind, I need to get to some of these supers. Let's see. Red Factor coming through again. Thank you, sir. Casual's talking about how MJ in his era didn't have skilled players of today like KD. Meanwhile, Bob McAdoo was doing KD stuff before he was born.
Yo, shout out to Bob McAdoo, man. Multiple time scoring champion. Like I said, just one of the great players from back in the 70s into the 80s, man.
Shout out to Red Factor.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
King Booker World coming through again. Thank you. I'd pay to watch KD try to open a pickle jar.
That's funny.
Yes.
He'd break every bone in his hand.
Oh my God.
That's great. Man. That is fantastic.
I don't know if that'd be as entertaining as trying to see him hanging from a fucking bar going nowhere, though.
Right?
I mean, he'll never outlive not being able to bench 185. He'll never outlive that moment.
I don't listen, guys. I remember I saw this video on YouTube of a fake alpha male. He was on one of these podcasts, right? And this guy runs his mouth a lot about how manly he is and women are second-rate citizens and, men are this, men are that. He's out these fake alpha cringe guys. And one of the women on the podcast, I saw this clip, she had a pickle jar. And she challenged this alpha male guy to open the pickle jar on air on the podcast live. This grown-ass man, alpha male, could not open the pickle jar. And what I said, I did a video about on my fitness health side of things. And what I talked about in the video was not to knock the guy for not being able to open the pickle jar. What I talked about and laughed and mocked him about was his reaction to not being able to open the pickle jar. Because the reaction is what made it worse, which made it much more embarrassing. Because of the way that he carries himself, the way he talks down to women and other people, he's an elitist, right? When he couldn't open the pickle jar, you saw all the blood leave this man's face. He was white as a ghost, and he was embarrassed. And what did he say? Hey, man, she made the jar slippery. The top is all slippery. I can't get a grip. This man went and got a tissue. He went and got a paper towel, put it on top of the jar, and still couldn't open the goddamn top. So again, it wasn't about that he couldn't open it, which is embarrassing of and of itself, the way you run your mouth. But the fact that you responded the way you did and acted embarrassed the way you did, and then try to blame the girl for making the top greasy, and then he tried to get his shirt, and then it gets worse, guys. It's not even over yet. Then there were other guys on the set. So there was a guy behind the scenes, right? I guess somebody who works on the set. He's like, yo, why don't you try to open it? I bet you can't open it. The dude walked over, picked it up, and popped it off in 2 seconds. That's embarrassing.
Well, we've got a nation full of fucking fake alpha males. Like their lack of alphaness makes them keep declaring their alphaness. And if you're an alpha male, why the fuck would you spend any time demeaning women? Spend your time better.
Right. Well, then you're not. Then AOH, you're not an alpha. Then AOH, you're not an alpha if you're doing that. That's the whole point.
I'm sorry. Can we dedicate the next 5 minutes to me demeaning women?
They don't know what alpha males are. Again, it's one of those words
the entire
that
definition
the definition of.
Yeah,
that's right, Siberians. Exactly.
I was going to say now alpha males are macho dickheads. That's not what an alpha male does.
No,
that's not their role. It's never been their position. And now they're trying to turn it into this. And then they've come. Anyway, that's an entirely different fucking topic. Let me get.
I would hope it does.
A few more of these.
Yo, shout out to Tom in the chat. Andrew Wilson was the name of the fake alpha male. That was his name, Andrew Wilson. Thank you,
nice.
Tom.
Actually, Sports and Fitness Rants. You mind reading this super?
Absolutely. A shout out to my man Austin Savini. I probably jacked that up, man. Forgive me, but a shout out to Austin for coming through. I'm so over saying he has 4 rings. 2016 Game 6 is by far the worst game ever officiated. 0-10 or 0-0 if the game was called correctly. League intervention king. Yo, shout out to my man Austin for coming through. 0-10 in the finals.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Pretty astonishing bullshit.
Rise Above Anything coming through again. Thank you. Last time I checked, Pippen never won a Finals MVP.
Well, he
that's
was
just
robbed.
Something that's also not talked about enough.
He was
Pippen
robbed,
was
obviously.
so fucking great in all 6 of those finals. Where's his Finals MVP?
He was robbed. The podcasts are saying that now. He was the Finals MVP.
I mean, it's crazy. That's called rewriting history. Yeah. People want you to believe that Pippen was so close to Jordan that he probably should have won a Finals MVP a couple of those years. But in reality, like Siberius is mentioning, they were so far apart. There was no way for him to win a Finals MVP. The only way he could have won one is if Jordan choked it up badly and Pippen saved the day. But that never happened. As a matter of fact, there was Pippen going out there choking up a lot of these scenarios, averaging 15 points a game in the freaking finals on 34% shooting. Yeah, way to help out Jordan, Pippen.
Thank you. Great points.
Well, and actually, shout out to Self-Researched NBA Facts. He did an entire series breaking down each game one by one, where he showed why Pippen did not deserve those Finals MVPs for each game of those 6 championships.
Well, this is the world we're in now. Just talk big. Doesn't matter if you back it up or if history's there. Just keep running your mouth and run it arrogantly.
Remember, Jordan had to be the leading scorer.
It's a waste of energy because, again, everybody on this panel was alive and well to see Pippen and what he was. So why are we arguing?
AI.
What's that? Oh, right. Why are we arguing with somebody when we saw it? We were there. It's a waste of energy to even defend it.
Yeah, to Robin's point earlier about that dipshit that referenced Steve Kerr. So when Steve Kerr, when are you going to choose that the Steve Kerr clips that you want to demean Jordan are AI, and whenever Steve Kerr was averaging 4 points a game, that was also AI, that because Steve Kerr actually was scoring 30 points a game.
Right.
What the fuck are we dealing with these days, man?
All right, Carl Harv coming through again. Thank you, Carl. Bosch is a super weirdo. I cringe every time I see him. He's just uncomfortable to look at.
Again, what grown man is comfortable with having a bunch of other grown men pouring champagne down their mouth, looking all glossy? It's not okay. We should have known he was not okay back then.
Nope. All right, last one so far. Xavier to God coming through. Thank you. AD was actually robbed of his Finals MVP. That was such a fucking hack job by the league to give that to LeBron because, again, 2020, in lockdown due to a pandemic. Nobody has anything to watch. Still one of the lowest ranked finals of all time. And maybe that's why they did it. Maybe that's why they did it, because no one watched. So there's no witnesses to the calamity that LeBron was, and that the fact that fucking AD carried him, that has to play a role in it, because it wasn't even close.
Right. I want people to understand what Siberius is saying here when he's talking about what Anthony Davis was doing in the finals, because it's not just about the numbers. If you look at what Anthony Davis was doing as a defensive anchor for that team, I mean, it can't be denied, the two-way play of Anthony Davis. I mean, my God. And if you watch the finals, and I watched some of those games and stuff, LeBron James, to me, when I was watching, it looked like he sabotaged several of those games so that he could stat pad and stat chase and get his numbers just enough so that they could give him the award. I mean, it's an absolute joke. They should have swept the damn Heat. How do you lose 2 games to the Miami Heat, man, who were like the 6th seed that season? And no doubt, Jimmy Butler had some great games in that series. Again, because LeBron James don't take the challenge like that. He don't guard 1 through 5 when it matters most. So you're on the money. I mean, if you think about Michael Jordan, in all 6 NBA finals, he had to be the leading scorer by a mile. Guys, it's not even close. Scottie Pippen was the second best scorer in all those finals. Guys, they're miles apart. Miles apart. Meanwhile, they tell you that Scottie Pippen had to grab all the rebounds. He had to do all the assisting and play all the defense. Go look at the rebounds, the assisting numbers, the steals. Michael Jordan got more steals in the finals than Scottie Pippen. He had more assists in the finals than Scottie Pippen. The only thing that Scottie Pippen averaged more than Michael Jordan in the finals was rebounds, man. Freaking rebounds. Great for Scottie Pippen for averaging more rebounds than Jordan. Meanwhile, their averages are almost double in the finals, man. It's insane stuff. That was the level of burden that was on Jordan every single year to carry those guys offensively.
Robin, one thing you didn't mention about that, about AD in the bubble, is that Miami was so desperately outclassed, just based on size, right? Let's just start there, okay? They were so desperately outclassed, and we all knew that, right? But if you watched ESPN back then, they tried to paint this picture like the Heat were somehow going to be this formidable foe to that Lakers team. But we all knew that nobody else was interested in playing basketball at that time except for LeBron James and the Lakers. And AD was finally healthy. So not only were they outclassed by every metric in terms of size, right? But they didn't want to be there. It was literally watching the tryhards in the Lakers play a Miami team that could care less. What was the name of their three-point shooter? I'm forgetting his name, but he was cold. He just got traded to Milwaukee.
KCP?
I'm blanking on his name.
Wait, for who?
For Miami. I'm going to say he was. What's that? Tyler Hero. They tried so desperately to make Tyler Hero look like this tough guy. You know, he's scowling at the camera and all this stuff. But everybody knew Miami didn't stand a chance. It was so hard to watch. Thank you, Tyler Hero. Yes, thank you.
I've started multiple videos about 2020, and I started another one a couple of weeks ago, and it was just laughing at the roster matchup. I mean, just laughing. It was like, this is absurd. And then that was before that already laughable roster was filled with injuries for Miami.
Thank you, AOH.
You mentioned Tyler Hero. He was a goddamn rookie. He wasn't supposed to be playing at all, Steam Engine.
Yeah.
No, thank you for bringing that up, Airways. That was absolutely fantastic, because a lot of people like to say that Michael Jordan played against teams that were old and injured. Oh, he played those guys. Meanwhile, in the finals of 2020, the entire starting lineup for the Miami Heat was injured. Goran Dragic went down, who you can argue was one of their best players after Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo. He goes down. Kenny Olynyk, who's one of their rotation guys, goes down. Everybody was getting hurt in that finals, but they won't talk about that. They'll say that was the hardest finals ever won.
You know, we're almost at the 2-hour mark. Siberius, what else do you want to, with respect to everybody's time? I'm good, but what else? Want to make sure we cover everything.
There was still one more clip. I mean, we didn't even get into Tim Hardaway talking about Bosch. We just got through the intro. So if you guys want to continue on with that.
I mean,
okay,
I think we covered it. It was nonsense.
I have one more clip that I wanted to show you guys. It's Luka actually getting praised now that LeBron is gone, which I thought was weird. But here, let me get to this last super real quick. Rise above anything. Thank you again. Steve Kerr, John Paxson, all role players, man. They were role players. They had a job and they did it.
And as we point out on this channel, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not shit talking.
No, that's not a knock on them at all.
Nope, that's a fact. And those guys played their roles great. Steve Kerr played his role, and John Paxson played their role. And they're celebrated to this day because they played their roles. No one tears them down and says they were trash. But these guys try to make it seem like Jordan was playing on stacked teams when these guys were role players.
Well, and both journeymen, weren't they?
Journeyman, Steve Kerr. Go look at how many teams Steve Kerr played before he got to the Bulls. He played like 3 teams before he got to the Bulls, man. Come on, man. Cliff Livingston, Craig Hodges. These guys played on multiple teams. Luke Longley was a journeyman. Scott Burrell was on the Hornets before he came to the Bulls. You never knew any of those guys. It wasn't like any of those guys were big name players on other teams and then came to the Bulls in free agency. These guys were role players and journeymen at best on their teams.
Did the Bulls draft Tony Kukoc?
Yes.
They did? Okay.
They drafted him back in the first stint when Michael Jordan was there. They drafted him, but he didn't come over.
Yeah, including Michael Jordan actually had to sit through the Bulls planning on the future instead of helping him in the present.
Right.
Yep.
Tony
That's a
Kukoc,
strong point.
Tony Kukoc was not there while Jordan was playing until Jordan came back from retirement. He didn't actually get to enjoy Tony Kukoc until the 94-95 season.
Right.
And that was for a couple of games.
And I remember I was reading an excerpt from Tony Kukoc's book. It's a great book. I didn't read the whole book, but he's got a great book. And in the book, he mentions, the time with the Bulls and Michael Jordan. And he talked about when Michael Jordan was retiring the first time, when he first got drafted by the Bulls. And he was saying that when he came to the Bulls in 94, that Jordan was gone and how much that upset him because he wanted to play with Michael Jordan so badly. When we talk about a lot of these international guys, we're talking about a Tony Kukoc. A guy that we didn't mention earlier that I wanted to bring up was Tony Parker. And when you think about Tony Parker, who I believe he was born in Belgium, if I'm not mistaken. When you think about him coming overseas, right, he played in the French national team, I believe, and you think about his career, one of the forgotten players of the 2000s, Tony Parker, but he was one of the great players of that era, but doesn't get mentioned. I forget to mention him sometimes. If you listen to Tony Parker and you look at and you think about his career, the last year of his career, he played for the Charlotte Hornets. And a lot of people forget that, and they're probably like, why did Tony Parker leave the Spurs to go play that 1 year in Charlotte? Well, the reason that he gave and the reason he talked about was that Michael Jordan was his favorite player growing up. A guy who was born and grew up in Belgium. Michael Jordan was his idol, so he wanted to play for the Hornets and Michael Jordan's team. That's how much Michael Jordan meant to him. He literally went there just because Jordan was the owner of the team. When you think about Tony Kukoc, and he talks about that in the book, the feelings that came over him because he wasn't going to be able to play. Remember, he didn't know Jordan was going to come back. So in his mind, I can't play with the great Michael Jordan. This is upsetting me. He was very upset by that and was almost like pleading to Jordan to stay around.
All right, let's check out this clip and let's see what we think about it.
That is accurate.
Okay.
So Luka's won it twice. Luka won it in 24, and again, he won it 2 of the last 3 years, 24 and 26.
And I think the idea that with LeBron not there this year, that, Luka will be scoring again like he did when he was in Dallas, which is, I don't think, the worst.
He did that last year. Luka averaged 33.5 points per game last year.
I know, as LeBron took a step back a little bit. LeBron also early in the season missed a bunch of games and everything as he was ramping up. So, but yeah, picking Luka certainly makes a lot of sense. Shea was second and Edwards was third in this poll.
Yeah, Shea the year before averaged 32.7 last year, slipped all the way to 31.1.
Well, that's the thing. Shea falls out of bed and puts up 30. The question is his over under is is he going to score 33 or 40 or 28? He scores 30 every game.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of the 50s. He's had a few, but where Luka.
Yep.
He doesn't fall out of bed. He falls dribbling.
Yes.
Can I tell you one thing that I've noticed? And AOH, I think you broached this. You talked about just getting on camera and talking. One thing I noticed, how is what they're doing anything different than what we are doing right now? They have millions of dollars at their they have all the resources in the world, and this is a testament to how bad things are and how there's just no creativity. There's no work into anything. They can do whatever they want with this. They're doing the exact same thing we're doing right now. The difference is they have the ears of the nation. That is a problem. I'm tired of seeing all of these podcast hosts and all of these commentators just speaking of waking up and getting out of bed, literally waking up and getting out of bed and just doing a podcast. There's no production value. There's no creativity. There's nothing different that they're doing than what we're doing right now, with the exception of what we're doing is trying to make the world in basketball a better place. This is so disappointing to see.
You said it's just the same, but it's not quite just the same. I would say we actually put more research into what we do. I mean,
that's fair.
And you talk about them crawling out of bed and just babbling some shit. I mean, half of them don't even know how to pronounce the names of the players that they're talking about, which is
you're right.
I understand sometimes it can be challenging, but your goddamn job. Look, it says ESPN down there at the bottom. Figure out who the fuck you're talking about before you go on camera. You're a goddamn professional, supposedly.
You should be able to pronounce the names of the people that you play with.
That's funny, man. That's actually pretty funny, guys.
And you can't find an intern that can do some research to help you, learn how to pronounce players' names. Or
they do have that. They do have that, but they're so spoiled they don't even look at the notes that the interns provide for them before they just roll out of bed, as Beam said.
There's just no effort. Sad? It's so low effort. Sorry. Go ahead. Robin,
I'm sorry, Speed. My fault.
No. I was going to say low effort is what I was looking for. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's really sad when Windhorst brings and says something like, Shea falling out of bed could put up 30. And he says that, as if this guy is like, the greatest scorer ever. And like, oh, man, just, falls out of bed and scores 30. And yes, SGA has averaged 30 or more over the last 4 seasons straight. This is 4 consecutive seasons of 30 or more points. It's pretty impressive when you think about that overall. But again, the problem is the era you're doing it in. And like my man AOH mentioned, when you talk about falling out of bed and then we watch SGA play the game, the guy is on the floor more than LeBron James, man. He really is. So, yeah, the scoring is impressive to a degree, but it's also fraudulent to a degree because the amount of free throws that this guy baits for, because remember, he's not necessarily flopping, he's foul baiting. That's what he does all the time on the court. SGA, I mean, sometimes you see him fall, and you're looking around like, how did he fall? That's the same thing we say about LeBron James. And he's a back-to-back MVP winner.
Okay. Brian Windhorst threw in another lie, and he did it sly, and he did it on the DL. Nevertheless, it's a lie, and he talked about LeBron voluntarily taking a back seat in order for other people, I don't know, for it to fit in the system or for Luka to do what he does or whatever the lie is. Again, go and look at the games. LeBron James doesn't change anything about his game. He doesn't change a goddamn thing about his game. And in fact, some of those games where he comes in third in scoring, he still led in attempts. He never really took the backseat that he claims to have taken. And he certainly didn't make anyone around him better. Evidenced by the fact that Luka and Reeves and Ayton and Smart and Hachimura all had their best games when LeBron James was out.
Right. So true. They're picking the scoring champion for this season. I mean, goodness gracious.
Well, I'm sorry, what is today? September 2nd?
I don't get these guys. I mean, look at his face right here. These guys don't even know what to talk about right now. They're talking about predicting the scoring champ for the season. Who gives a goddamn who we think is going to be the scoring champ for the season? This is weak stuff out here, man. And again, they mentioned a guy like Luka Doncic, who was a LeBron James teammate, but then they trashed Luka Doncic, who was a LeBron James teammate. So remember, last year, and even the year before that, Luka Doncic was the leading scorer in the NBA, but they complained he wasn't playing enough defense to help LeBron James. So I laughed and said they want Luka Doncic to be Michael Jordan, lead the league in scoring and be an elite-level defensive player simultaneously when LeBron James was never even that. They want Luka Doncic to be that.
I said it on the last show. If you want to talk about defense, remember, that Luka headhunted LeBron James because his defense was that bad. When Luka was on the Mavs, he headhunted LeBron fucking James. Never forget that, people.
Yeah.
AOH, I want to call back to something you just said, because as I'm looking at the topic on the screen here, picking the NBA scoring champion, Robin, to your point, who cares, right? I would dare say that what we are speaking of and what we talk about every week is exponentially more interesting than talking about who the next leading scorer of the league is. That is the definition of a cookie cutter topic with nothing to talk about. So I would say that for everybody that says, well, you guys have nothing to talk about, would you rather talk about what we're speaking of, or would you rather talk about the super interesting topic of who's going to lead the league in scoring next year? Well, I mean, there's all of these things that they have all of the resources available. They have access to the most influential athletes on the planet, because basketball probably is the most influential sport. And you want to sit here and talk about who's going to lead the league in scoring next season. How interesting is that? Who is starved for content between us and the podcast, who has millions of dollars to speak of and research whatever they want?
Right.
It's actually really, really sad.
It's not, unfortunately, it's not a matter of them being starved, because there's endless sources. It's those who want to continue to be fed what they already believe.
Yeah.
And who's really, I mean, listen, and we're talking about the scoring champion. The reason why I say who cares is because of the way the game is officiated, the standard that these guys are held to, right? The fouls, these guys are always foul baiting. So the scoring to me is not as impressive as back in the day. Like Siberius was saying, look what Michael Jordan was doing. Some of the great scorers were doing, going against some of these defenses, man. That's more impressive to me when you're scoring against guys that are giving you a lot of resistance. So for these guys to, talk about who they think will be the scoring champ next season, why don't we talk and ask what top 10 player is going to play all 82 games next season? That's the conversation I want to hear about, that I want to know who they think is going to play all 82 games. Because in my estimation, there isn't a single top 10 player in the league that's going to play all 82 games, man. So if you lead the league in scoring at 31 points a game, let's say, but you only played 64 games, it's not that impressive to me. If you lead the league in rebounding when you play 65 games, it's not that impressive to me. If you led the league in assists but you played 65, I'm not impressed with Victor Wembanyama leading the league in blocks playing 64 freaking games, man. This is not impressive to me.
Nope. It's not impressive.
I told you guys, and I say the same goddamn thing every time because it needs to be said, repeated. In 1990, Patrick Ewing averaged 4 blocks a game, played all the games. Not 81, not 77, not 62, 82 games, 4 blocks a game. You realize that Patrick Ewing did not get a block title on his resume because Hakeem Olajuwon averaged 4.6 blocks a game, playing all 82 goddamn games that season. You realize Patrick Ewing did not even make the all-defensive team, first or second that year, because David Robinson made the second team, averaging 3.9 blocks a game. So, when they celebrate Victor Wembanyama for averaging 3.8 blocks a game, and he has 3 block titles on his resume, even though the man hasn't sniffed 80 games once.
What, he played 71, 72 games his first season?
64 last year, and we played 47 the year before.
Yeah, I was going to say, 47 and then 64 this year.
We talked about that last week, Robin. Go ahead, Cyberius. I'll follow.
How am I supposed to be impressed by any of that? You barely fucking played.
And let me tell you something crazy real quick, Speen. When you think about that season, that Victor Wembanyama played 47 games, I believe it was, and you might think in your brain, how did he get credit with a block title when you need a 65-game minimum to be qualified for that? How did he get that on his resume? He's a 3-time block champion, Victor Wembanyama. You know how he was qualified to get that? Because even though he only played half the season, he still led the NBA in total blocks. Are you freaking kidding me? You think in the 90s you're going to lead the NBA in total blocks playing half the season? Are you now with Patrick Ewing, now with Mutombo, now with Shaq, now with Olajuwon, now with Robinson, now with McHale down there, or Larry Nance? I mean, it's insane stuff.
Robin, we talked about this, I think, 2 weeks ago. And I know I joke about your fitness and all that. the truth of the reality is you are a person who does the best they can every day. I'll publicly say that. We talk about grown men, grown millionaires that strive to do the bare minimum. Listen to the talking points that ESPN covers. Listen to the talking points that we cover. The talking point is always about whether or not they're going to play 65 games, not 82, but 65, just for the sake of them being able to get their own personal awards. So we now, hashtag strive for greatness. We are now striving for the absolute bare minimum. And one of the things I love about your channel, Robin, is you always make the best out of whatever position, like whatever situation you're in. Like I consistently see you, like I said, I joke, but like you're always working out. You're always like curling air conditioners and running on the freeway and all this other shit. Like you're doing the best you can with what you have. That is the opposite of a bare minimum mindset, right? These are grown men that have every resource available. And what do they strive for? The absolute bare minimum so they can further get individual awards. That is the reality that we live in.
Right.
Well, and actually, this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean it. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm not like I truly believe that about you.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I have to shout out my brother Super here. I find it funny that certain auditors call it extreme durability if a player plays 75 games.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Shout out to Earn Your O2.
I never heard that before. That's actually pretty funny stuff. And again, you know what that goes to, Siberius? That's lowering the standard. Now we've lowered the standard.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of the viewers in last week's episode that they were talking about 18 people played 82 games out of the 400 and how many ever players, 18. And that was up from the year before where I think it was either 15 or 17.
That's crazy, man.
What?
That is
in
insane.
Siberius. There's an entire like the NBA. What is it? The NBA. What's the name of their organization that represents them? The NBPA. Is that accurate? Is that
Players
the
Association?
NBA?
Yeah.
Players Association. They're actively trying to get rid of the 65 game minimum.
Yep.
Right.
They're trying to shorten the season.
Yeah.
From being 82 games.
It's sick. It's sick.
While hockey increasing their season, even the fucking WNBA is increasing the length of their season. But the NBA is like, no, this is too many. We need to play 72 games. Well, if you make the season 72 games, then you're going to have to change the cutoff record for players to receive personal accolades to 55 games or 45 games.
No, just make it 20, Siberius.
Exactly.
You just got to play a few games, get your buckets. We'll give you MVP.
It's really crazy. Well, when you say that, the 18 players played 82 games, I mean, that's crazy when you say it like that. Out of all those guys, and remember, if guys miss games, we get that. Every era, guys miss games. I've never said on my channel and said that those guys never miss games. They were there every single night. The problem is that these guys are missing all these games, but they promote the era as bigger, stronger, and faster than the other guys. You're clearly not.
Yeah, but Robin, they said it, so it's true. You're wrong. They said it, so you have to believe them.
Yo, guys, real quick. I just looked up. I pulled it up on my screen here. In 1991, how many players in 1991 played all 82 games? Guys, 50 players played all 82 games in a tough-ass physical era, 91. 50 guys, man. And if you go further and you think about how many guys played 80 or more, you're talking about 87 players playing 80 or more games in a league. And remember, these are not just bootleg bench guys or role guys. These are the top guys playing all the games.
So I went and saw Jordan play 3 times live. He was always there. He always delivered. Because I live in Seattle, I got to see the Sonics in the 90s play multiple times. Sean Kemp, always there. Detlef Schrempf, when he played for them, always there. Gary Payton, always there. I never didn't see one of them play at a game. And I went to a lot of games. And they were always there. I went to 1 exhibition game in the modern era. 4 starters were out.
Yep.
Are you fucking kidding? And you know how much those tickets cost for that exhibition game? They were exorbitant, and 4 starters didn't play.
That's a great point, Siberius, and I want people to remember, when it comes to Michael Jordan, the reason why he's the standard and the bar is set so high is even in preseason, scrimmages, exhibition games, Michael Jordan showed up, guys. I think in his entire career, he only missed like 4 exhibition games, man. Yep. I mean, it's insane stuff.
Yep. Real quick, shout out to my brother yet again. He said, super chat because Izzy needs treats. She does, so thank you.
Oh, shout out to Izzy.
Also, hope all you guys are killing it today. We're trying to.
We are. No, Siberius, we
I
are. We are.
I was going to say, I think we're killing it. I'm going to go ahead and say that. I think we're killing it.
I'm going to say
with
Robin here.
We're talking about the rest of that Luka Doncic video. Like, who gives a shit? I just thought it was funny that they were even acknowledging him in a positive way now that LeBron is gone. I did want to get your guys' insights on Harden being signed for a 3-year contract for almost $100 million.
Maybe they know something we don't, but he's going to fold. You know, he consistently folds in the playoffs. His time is come and gone. You know, we saw the step back. We saw the traveling. Harden just, I don't know. He's more interested in strip clubs, I guess. I don't understand what Cleveland's doing.
And then I don't know Peyton Watson, like just off the top of my head, but he signed a 4-year, $88 million deal. Like, is Cleveland just throwing money into analytical wins? Is that what they're doing?
The guy Peyton Watson, I've seen him play several times. He was on the Denver Nuggets, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Yeah,
and he was a quality player. He wasn't, like I said, he was still a young player, still trying to develop. And I guess, evolve his game. So I can see him maybe being a help for the Cavaliers way more than James Harden. I said, I don't know why the Cavaliers got James Harden. Because, again, if you saw what he did in the playoffs last year, I would have kept this guy as far away from my franchise as possible, man. I would have paid him to not come back.
Yep. Yep.
I'd have been, take that $97 million, peace out. Deuces.
So I actually have a question for you guys. I just thought of this right now, but I'm curious what you guys think. Who is a bigger playoff choke artist, Doc Rivers or James Harden?
Oh, man. I'm definitely going with James Harden, man. I'm going
Doc Rivers at least has a chip, so I kind of think that gives him an edge a little bit.
Well, no, I'm talking about Doc Rivers coaching as well.
Right. Doc Rivers has gotten the pass for a very long time. I still got to go James Harden.
Most 3-1 leads in NBA history.
But the difference is what James Harden does and what prime James Harden did in the regular season, averaging like 40 for a month just to go into the playoffs and absolutely fold, kind of has to put him as like one of the all-time playoff losers. In addition to after losses, for you to consistently just see him out living the nightlife like he didn't just blow it in the playoffs, makes him just a disappointing character.
That's overall. A great point, Steve.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
That was great, man. You're right. That's good stuff right there. That's James Harden in a nutshell. Yo, guys, I got to get going here. I got to coach football. I got coming up in a little bit. So my wife's giving me the look here.
I'm just shouting out my brother real quick. Also, I've had protein bars with more durability than a modern NBA player. They need to back off that crap. And looks like last super Vincent Garcia coming through. Robin, aka Big Papa Pump, curling a Prius with the Soy Boys in the trunk while rocking 2 shortened.
Robin is the man. There's no question. Robin is the man. Seriously.
Oh,
I mean, shout out to my man Vicente Garcia, man. You guys make me laugh.
See, that's the name that I keep butchering. I keep saying fucking Vincent. It's Vicente. So I apologize for that. I fucked up your name like 20 times on these lives.
Hey, Siberius, can we also please shout out everybody in the chat that says we need to be on ESPN? Word. Like shout out to you guys, because I don't know, like I feel like what we offer is at least a different view, and I feel like we kind of know what we're talking about. So shout out to y'all that appreciate us and want to see us on the airways.
I think one of the biggest things that we do is at least we offer context.
That's it.
Right. And like you said,
that's really what it comes down to.
And it matters to us. Again, a lot of times you hear a lot of the people, young people, and, they'll say things on my channel like, oh, you don't even like the league. Why do you even watch it anymore? I do like basketball. I still play basketball in the streets. I got a pair of Jordans that I play in, and them joints is worn out. I had a pair of Kobe's before that. Them joints were worn out till the soles fell off, man. So I play ball still. I do athletics still. The game matters to me still. That's why we're here. You think if it didn't matter to me, I wouldn't care what these guys are doing and what they're saying about the errors in the league. I wouldn't care. But because we care about this stuff, because we are fans of the sport, remember, it's the sport that we're fans of. It's not just the NBA. The NBA is a league. The sport is basketball. So that's why we're here. We're standing up for the errors, and we're giving context and perspective, like Siberius says. You don't have to believe what we say. You don't have to agree with what we say. But we don't have an agenda here to lie to you on purpose and tell you something that we want you to believe. You can believe whatever you feel you want to believe based off of what we're telling you. But there's no agenda here except for, once again, setting the record straight, stopping the lies and the narratives. So again, I really appreciate everybody that continues to come through. I see some new people in the chat that I haven't seen before. Somebody, I guess they don't know me that well, and they said that I really like the guy with the horse voice. So once again, shout out to you guys out there who don't know me that well. But this is what I do. This is what we do on these live shows on Wednesdays. It means a lot. Again, guys, if you spend some time with us, some of you guys are on a break at work. Some of you guys are on your way to work. You just got off work. Whatever you're doing, man, thank you for hanging out with us on the Wednesday again. Like I said, I got to go and coach my son's football team. It's the first season that we're doing tackle football now, not flag football. And they just started full tackle, full pads yesterday. So it's our second day with full pads and tackling. So like I said, it's been great. Again, Speem, thank you very much, man. I had a great time with you again. Siberius, thank you for leading us as always. AOH, I hope you're still out there. I hope you didn't get attacked by an animal in the woods somewhere. And everybody in the chat, I hope you guys have a great day.
Absolutely. Thank you, Robin, for always showing up, for always bringing the energy. I was going to say we couldn't do it without you.
I appreciate you guys, man. It means a lot.
We out. Someone call 911 for AOH. Make sure he's not whatever he does.
AOH passed out drunk.
Probably.
And last Super A full contact football coaching.
Word.
So
that's right.
There we go.
Yeah, man. They got my son playing the running back, man, like his old man back in the day.
Hey, yo, good luck, Robert. Robin, if you do a live on Friday, I might catch you. I'm turning 41 on Friday, so I might be in there all liquored up, yelling about something. So we'll maybe I'll catch you Friday.
You're old as hell.
Yeah, send me a text, Beam, on Friday, man.
Bro. All right, I got you. I'm gonna see you Friday.
Yeah, text me, man. Definitely.
Yep.
I'll catch you guys on the next one.
All right. Yeah,
y'all.
Shout out to everyone.
Appreciate everybody.
Again, thank you everybody for coming through. Speem, thank you for coming through. AOH, again, hope you're not dead. Hope you didn't get eaten by an animal running in them woods. A great show.
Yep.
Say we were almost at it for another hour and 30 minutes. And yeah, I'm sure we'll see you all on Sunday.
Deuces.
Yep.
We are out.